Jingle bell,
Yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today on this week's prediction special. We are super excited to be here. No normal intro like we did. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know that the people have spoken, which is why I am dressed as an elf. So thank you guys for joining us today. Look, I even have an elf hood. You like that?
Yeah,
Look,
see, he actually abided by the results of the poll.
candy cane legs. I've got candy cane legs, little buttons. So thanks everybody. You can see Dan. He is dressed up as a deer.
Yeah,
it's looking good, Dan. You really went all out on that costume.
Yeah, I put this on my head. By the way, I've been wearing this since December 1st. Like it's nothing.
He just wears it all the time. Actually, it's not he actually didn't dress up. But he was normal. He just showed up on camera today. So thanks everybody for joining us. We're broadcasting in 4 different locations. We're on Clubhouse, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Clubhouse, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. That's 4. Yeah. That's all 4 of them. If somebody in our chat, one of the moderators, if you could drop the link to the YouTube, that way everybody, if they wanted to, they could check out the YouTube and see us live there. Also, I'm super proud of our thumbnail today. I want to show that right off the bat. Sometimes we have good ideas for thumbnails, and sometimes we just got to put it together. Today was one where we had a really good idea. We do kind of, but that's just, we're busy real estate agents. We got other stuff going on, but this is going to be one of my favorites because it's from the new movie Spirited, and I am Ryan Reynolds. Dan is.
Don't give it away.
Will Ferrell. Well, I kept thinking Matt Ferrell, who works on the team. Dan is Will Ferrell. So, and I told Dan, I was like, we're going to be doing our predictions today. We're going to go through all the old predictions. We're going to see how right we were from the end of the year. And you guys, whoever chimed in last year, we also have your predictions too, that we're going to be checking in with. And I was like, what's a Christmas movie that has to do with future and predictions? And he was like, Scrooge, duh. And I was like, oh yeah, Spirited, the new. So there you go.
But then
that was a good one.
Because
good work.
Scrooge is a little more iconic. I just don't know if everyone's age appropriate because I was 15 when the movie came out.
It's classic,
4.
instant classic.
Yeah. I haven't seen
really?
Scrooge.
That's an old one.
5 when it came out.
Yeah. Oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
Well, we have a ton of news to cover. We'll be talking about the Fed raising the rates last week. We had no show last week because of the holiday. We'll have no show next week because of the holiday. So this is our middle show. It's the last show of the year, and it's our Christmas prediction special. We're going to go a little bit long today, but we're going to try to crush all of these news headlines in the first 15 minutes or so. So we have the Fed raising the rates, the mortgage rates dropping after the CPI report, the mortgage refinance demand, what's happening there, and what's happening with purchase applications. We're also talking about home sales. Did they tumble or did they go up in November? We're going to be talking about the flipping profits, the rent profits, the Corcoran Group, Zillow acquiring a VRX Media. What's that mean for real estate agents? All of that is going to be in 15 minutes, and then we're going to get into predictions. So, Dan, before we get into all that stuff, would you tell people what this show is actually all about?
I'd love to. Now, when Ray and I met here, long before Krampus ever roamed the earth 963 years ago, I had an idea for a show. Because I am, in fact, a bearded man of real estate. And when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him.
What's that, Dan?
He has never, not once, ever gone door-to-door caroling with his family or friends or a singing troupe. Never, not once.
So I actually went to school on a singing scholarship, and caroling is something we did professionally. So not only have I been caroling, I know the parts. I know the parts to the old songs. Dang. The old songs. The boar's head and handbell. Yeah. I know all that stuff, man. That's like the old stuff. So yeah, caroling. And I wanted to go this year, but I don't think we're going to get it together. It's just going to be too wet and rainy. It's 3 degrees here in Arkansas on Friday, so it's not going to happen. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Dang, it's going to be all the way down to 68 today.
Stop.
It's too bad. So sorry, guys. But yeah, good thing everyone's mass exodusing to 3-degree weather.
Hey, they're coming to Arkansas.
I did not know that Ray has caroled before. I had an inkling that he might have, with his singing background. But I digress. I obviously noticed that he's a beautifully bearded man, but I also noticed that he loves giving value upfront to not only his clients, but just to humans in general. So the show's about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
Yep. And one of the ways we believe in being more is to know what in the heck is going on. So as a real estate agent, we want to provide one place where in the next hour and a half or so, you can get all the latest news and headlines so that you can better counsel your clients about what's happening in the marketplace. And that's why we do this show.
And we are the only real estate experts that do a weekly news podcast show, whatever you want to call it, that actually go back and check their predictions of not only Ray and I, but all of our guests and the commenters that I could get at 4 a.m. when I was rewatching the show.
That is true. Dan rewatches the show. I haven't even looked at the rundown. I don't know how accurate I am, but I feel like I'm probably the most accurate. I think Dan would agree.
Some good ones. And Julie Moon has. I don't know if it's the best one, but it's good. It's good.
Okay.
There are some good ones. I was way better than I thought I would be. I was really off on one, but also on at the same time. There's some really good ones in here.
All right. Well, I'm excited. I'm pumped to get into it. Yeah. Before we do get into it, I want to introduce some of our special guests joining us live in studio. Well, first up,
in their studios.
Joining us live in their studio. Please welcome Scap.
Nice. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on this special show. I'm looking forward to it, guys.
Yeah, the infamous Scap who took down broke agent media with one fell swoop. Thank you, Scap, for joining us.
I still can't believe it. The pain I felt and the burn I felt as a real estate agent for was it Byron?
Yes. Byron, yeah, Byron.
I mean, it still exists. I mean, they are the burn marks, the 3rd-degree burn marks from that show are still existent and may exist well into 2023 for Byron. Sorry, buddy.
I'm still waiting for them to invite me back, like they said, but I have a feeling it's not going to happen. But Dan, look what I tried to channel my inner Dan today with the sunglasses. So
yeah, I like it. I like the glasses, the Santa hat. It's looking sharp. I also want to introduce another fellow realtor. Please welcome Matt LaMarche.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Hey, happy holidays, everybody.
So Matt is dressed up like a filthy animal. I think he thinks that's a reindeer, but we can probably all agree it's more like an elk.
It's a moose.
You got to throw the rings at the
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
It's the inflatable moose antlers. So these guys are going to be joining us today throughout the show. We're going to bring them back up, especially for the predictions. But before we get into the headlines, y'all ready to do the transition?
You guys ready to do it with us?
Let me tell the producers. All right, let's go. Okay. All right, well done.
And just like that.
So hang tight, fellas. We'll be right back. And just like that, we're in the headlines. First up. Let's talk about the Fed. We didn't have a show last week. We were going to try to do like some kind of special, like,
quick one.
Yeah, like one of those breaking news things. But the internet, I was at the hotel I was at was not great. Hotels in general need to fix the internet issue.
Oh,
I got to do the thing. All right, let's talk about the Fed. All right, so the Fed raised interest rates 0.5 point to its highest level in 15 years. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday raised its benchmark rate to the highest level in 15 years, indicating that a fight against inflation is not over, despite some promising signs lately. Keeping with expectations, the rate-setting Federal Open Market Committee voted to boost the overnight borrowing rate 0.5 percentage point, taking it to a targeted range between 4.25 and 4.5. The increase broke a string of 4 straight 3/4 point hikes. I think that's probably the most newsworthy thing. I felt it starting to happen in response to some of the inflation numbers coming back a little bit better.
Yeah, I feel like they're better, way better than predicted, way better.
And I felt like the Fed would have to do something to show some kind of confidence back into the market. But at the same time, they're showing confidence by not going up 3/4 points, only going up 0.5 point. And so it is showing some confidence, but however, it's not showing full confidence in the market because they are still raising rates.
Well, this is the fourth raise, right? And all of them have been 7.75, except for this last one, right?
Yeah. Three. How many straight were there? Was it three?
I think it was three or maybe four straight, all 0.75.
Straight right? Four, yeah. 4 straight 3/4 point hikes, which that is crazy.
That's yeah.
I want to show let me show you. We're going to get right to the next. Someone said, okay, go to the next one because they want to get into the prediction. We're going to get right into the next one. I'm getting text now about how long we're taking. Okay. All right. I'm running the show. Who's running? I'm running the show.
Right. We run this show and our producers, by the way.
We run the show when the viewers let us. All right. So this is interesting. Here's the federal funds target since July of 2006. You can see how in 08, it went straight down. So it was a Fed funds target of 5% in 08. And then it went straight down to 0.125 and was there until 2016, in which it started to inch up to its highest point was in 2019. Yeah, it was 2.375, and then it tanked down again during the COVID pandy. It was starting to stair step down until then, and then it went boom, straight down to 0.125. Then now it's gone straight up the other direction.
Those are all those 7 or 0.75 ticks.
I wonder if they're thinking that they want to get back to this high of 5.25% in 08. I wonder if that's what they're like, kind of their mental target is. Looking at this graph, it kind of seems like
it would kind of make sense, but it also wasn't a really, how do we say it? It wasn't a really leveled market then either. It was kind of out of control. I think they were trying to tamp it, and it just was a little too late.
Yeah, and that's when everything fell apart back then.
No, it didn't fall apart. It just crashed.
Okay, so as the Fed raises these rates, I mean, one thing that a normal person would expect is that all the rates would then go up right after, Dan, right?
Yeah.
You're wrong. The mortgage rates actually dropped at the end of last week after the CPI report, but the housing market is far from out of the woods. This news report comes to us from CNBC. The average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage dropped to 6.28% Tuesday, according to the Mortgage News Daily, is now the lowest level since mid-September. Let's see, the second consecutive month of reassuring CPI data continues to build a case that inflation has turned a corner, but rates will be careful about the reading too much into the potential shift given the volatility of the data in recent months, said Matthew Graham, Chief Operating Officer of Mortgage News Daily. He goes on to say that the bond market will wait and see what the Fed does with this information in tomorrow's updated Fed rate forecast.
And we will actually hit where rates are currently at when we get to the predictions to see how right or very wrong we were.
Yeah, we'll see where today's was, and we'll kind of mark it. Today's we're going to call today the end of the year, and then we will compare that to just how correct we were in our insane predictions of super high rates.
Or weren't.
No. Our viewers are smart. I'm going to say everyone had to be almost exactly correct.
And they trust us. They also trust us. They know that when we put a prediction out there, that it's going to be grounded in lots of research and an ability to predict an unforeseeable future.
Yeah. Like, who could possibly foresee that due to a slight rate drop at the end of the week, that suddenly refi demand would surge? Because that's exactly what happened. Mortgage refinance demand surged 6% as rates dropped to the lowest levels in September. Mortgage interest rates dropped again last week. And while that did little to bolster demand from home buyers, it did send home owners looking for savings in their monthly payments. Application to refinance a home jumped 6% last week as everyone's trying to pay for their Christmas gifts due to high inflation. Actually, I inserted that last part. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association seasonally adjusted index, volume, however, was still 85% lower than the same week a year ago. Now, why in the world would volume be 85% higher? Maybe because 2% interest rates?
Yeah. You could get
this is all to be expected. This is nothing. Mike Frantantoni, NBA's chief economist, said the latest data on housing market show that home builders are pulling back the pace of new construction in response to low levels of traffic, and we expect the weakness in demand will persist in 2023 as
And
the
that's a
U.S.
mistake.
is likely to enter a recession.
That's a mistake.
Are we going to enter a recession? Maybe we should talk about that.
Maybe we should
However,
talk about that in our predictions.
Maybe we should predict that. However, if mortgage rates continue to trend down, as we are forecasting, most buyers are likely to return to the market later in the year as affordability improves with both lower rates and slower home price growth. He didn't say lower prices.
Slower home.
He didn't say lower prices.
No.
He said slower home price growth.
It's going to grow less quickly.
Yeah.
You're going to gain slower.
And why would it grow less quickly? I don't know. If sales start to tumble. Because that's just what happened. Home sales tumbled more than 7% in November. It's the 10th straight month of declines. Seasonally adjusted annualized pace was 4.09 million units. That is weaker than the 4.17 million units housing analysts had predicted, which I have to say, like, good on how. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
That
seems like you're like 100,000 off. I guess that's a big number, but still, like your prediction is
millions, though.
Not millions. You're not millions off.
Right.
Sales were down 35.4% year over year, making it the 10th straight month of declines. That was the weakest pace since November of 2010, with the exception of May 2020 when sales fell sharply, albeit briefly, during the early days of the COVID pandemic. In November of 2010, the nation was mired in a great recession as well as foreclosure crisis. Let's see. This quote is Lawrence Yoon. He's the NAR's chief economist. He says, in essence, the residential real estate market was frozen in November, resembling the sales activity during the COVID pandemic lockdowns in 2020.
This is the other end of it. This is the end of it. And now the great reset. Oh, I'm doing a prediction, and I apologize.
You gotta hold that. He said the principal factor was the rapid increase in mortgage rates, which hurt housing affordability and reduced incentives for homeowners to list their home. Plus, available housing inventory remains at historic lows. You can read more of that at CNBC. Well, anytime we're seeing a drop in the number of home purchases, right? So there's fewer people buying a home. If there's fewer people buying a home right now, there's limited inventory, rates are up, then what in the world is going to happen to people trying to flip a house?
They're going to make
I don't know.
More
money than ever. Some would say, Dan, that flipping profits are going to drop at its fastest pace in over a decade, and they would be right. So if you're trying to sell a flipping house, just expect lower profits because you're not going to also see the increase in the time that you've owned this property for the flip. I mean, that's really what was happening in the last 2 years. People would buy a house and 3 months later, not even do anything to it, and they could sell it for more. Yeah. And if they did something to it, they got all the appreciation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Open door. Right. That was working for everyone. In the third quarter, gross flipping profit, which both those words mean different things in context. So that's pretty funny. Gross flipping profit, which is the difference between the median purchase price paid by investors and the median resale price, dropped to $62,000 according to Adam data, which people have opinions on, and a real estate data provider. That's down from 18.4% from the second quarter and down 11.4% year over year. It represents the smallest profit since the end of 2019. Wait, hang on. It's the smallest profit since the completely normal market.
And we've just gone through pure madness for 2 years.
Wait, is that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. So you would expect that, right?
No. Hey, I have a comment from the clubhouse. This is now, I think I'm going to guess it's Hallie. It might be Haley, but she's an agent out of San Angelo, Texas. And she says her husband flips 60 houses a year and is cutting them out in 2023 and going to custom homes. He builds them too. So just literally cutting out 60 flips a year, just from 60 down to nothing and going to only building customs. That's a big decision. But, if you're also building as well, and yeah, I'm not going to say anything because it's part of my prediction, but yes, I got her name right as well. So
yes, she said Hallie is in Halle Berry.
Yes.
That's interesting. I was just visiting with a builder yesterday, and he said that he's mainly doing custom homes and pre-solds. And I told him, I was like, right now the market is an average days on market of 45. And of all the properties listed, there are 49% of them with price decreases. And his eyes got like real big. He was like, oh my goodness. I said, but I do want to let you know that in December of 2019, it's basically the same stat.
Yeah, it sounds
we
good.
had 45 days on market. Actually, it was more days on market at the time. It was closer to 60 days on market there, but there was still 49% of properties that were listed on the market had price decreases in our market. So it's like, then that's pre-COVID. So there could be a little bit of sensationalization and all that stuff, right?
No.
Well, one of the things we know, this is our third to last story. We're trucking. We're doing good time right now. This is our third to last story. I'm going to make this pretty quick too. But what do you think is going to happen to rent? Drop in the comments. Let me know if rents went up in your area, if they went down in your area. What's happening? Are they going up now at a slower pace? Because that is what the media says. Rents now rising at the slowest pace in 19 months. No, really?
Wait. Rising at the slowest pace. It's the same as gains.
Right. Home price gains slow. Rent gains slow.
Yeah.
Many Americans' budgets are being pulled in multiple directions as the holidays approach, bringing more typical seasonal cool down as a rental market as we hadn't seen in a few years. That's Daniel Hell, chief economist for Realtor.com. Despite the recent relief, renters continue to be challenged by affordability in 2023. With rents forecasted to record more highs. One of the reasons why rents are going up is because people can't find where to live. Like if there were a ton of buyers that were buying properties, then the actual purchase of a property would be competition for somebody renting. But instead, they're not. So there's very little competition for someone renting in a high rate environment, which is really good for investors. So we still see lots of investors entering the market okay with the slow rent rise because where the rent rates are, it's still outpacing the home price growth.
That was a tongue twister where the rent
that was a little bit yeah. I was at the end of that phrase. I paused for a minute and was like, oh, I got through. That was pretty good. It's not good if you own a big franchise and you have brokerages leaving it right and left. The Corcoran Group, Barbara Cochran's group is going down in flames now that she sold it. Didn't she sell it? She didn't own it anymore, right?
I don't think so, no.
Julie Moon be able to tell us. Julie Moon's over there at the Corcoran. It will effectively close all offices and operations in Southern California region of Corcoran Global Living by December 31st, 2022, according to a memo obtained by Inman. They've terminated its franchise agreement with the Southern California region offices of its embattled affiliate, Corcoran Global Living. Documents obtained exclusively by Inman reveal. In an email sent to employees and associates by Corcoran Global Living CEO Michael Mahone on Monday, and obtained by Inman revealed in the wake of a legal dispute launched earlier this year with Corcoran Group, a rapidly declining economic and real estate environment, the franchisor will end its agreement with Mahone in Southern California, effectively close all offices and operations of Southern California region of Corcoran Global Living by December 31st of 2022. Oof. So you guys got 10 days to find somewhere else. That's interesting. This news story broke December 14th. So really people had 17 days. That's not a lot of time, man. The finding comes just weeks after Inman's reporting revealed Mahone and his company, ELI Realty Investments, were facing lawsuits from franchises of Corcoran Group for counts of fraud and breach of contract.
That's big.
Yeah. So, and the reason why we're covering this, we've seen a couple of times that Corcoran has made some moves. They've acquired some places have left. In our contributor chat, some people said they seem to be going down in flames, but really it kind of looks like this is a one-off situation in which a guy was in breach of contract and kind of an embattled franchisor. So I'm not real sure if this is an earmark for what is to come, but it's definitely something for us to keep our eye on and see what happens over time.
I don't see the situation getting any better.
Not for him.
Yeah.
But maybe for Corcoran, maybe they can, find some other people in that area. Maybe they're still expanding and growing. I just wonder what the genesis of that is. You guys can go to Inman and read the full report. We definitely don't have time to cover that today because I do want to get into this company that Zillow just bought. What? VRX Media. VRX Media. So Zillow acquired VRX Media, which is a real estate media company. Let me get the list of the stuff they do. This comes to us from Broke Agent Media, Scap's favorite media outlet. VRX Media's premium listing service includes aerial drone photography, virtual staging, 3D tours, high definition photography, fast media delivery to your clients made possible through the company's national network of professional photographers. So Zillow got them. They said Zillow's acquisition will enable Showing Time Plus to provide new premium marketing products scheduled for release of 2023.
Still waiting on that Showing Time Plus.
Showing Time Plus. Somebody yesterday was telling me that Showing Time right now is terrible. I don't know if they've made changes or what, but it's
Not
almost unusable where we are.
It's just the same old thing, which it was never crazy. It was serviceable. It worked. Like, why change it? Why fix an unbroken wheel?
Well, its OS was definitely from 1992.
Oh yeah, it was still the original engine that they used to build. I think they built the original Metroid on it.
Right. The people playing Snake on Showing Time.
Is that true, Dusty? Z is also shuttering agents' ability to upload their own listing videos.
What? Breaking news. Wait, hang on.
Yeah,
hang on. I got to get all the way over here. Hold the phone. Here we go. Breaking news from This Week in Real Estate. Dusty Martin says Zillow is also shuttering agents' ability to upload their own listing videos.
That's
interesting. They're closing loopholes for non-premier agents to market on their own platform. So basically, if you're not a premier agent, then you can't upload the videos to the properties.
Pay them to upload your own videos.
Pay them to help you distribute your content.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pay them to help them sell your listing.
Right. Okay, Rex.
What?
Pay them. So no, it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see. Basically, I think what Zillow is trying to do. A lot of agents try to create a concierge service for their clients, where one call and we'll help you move, and we'll help you clean your house, and we'll help you stage your house, and we'll help you. They're trying to create this concierge full service type of situation. And I feel like Zillow is trying to do that for real estate agents, where you could just use your Showing Time Plus, and as a premier agent, you pay them a little extra money, and they're going to call and set up all of the, they'll set up the photographers and all the media and all that kind of stuff. They'll get all that stuff for you and then send it to you, which then in that case, they probably own the rights too, and you probably don't, but that's
how does it work in your multiple listing service? For us, we have 3 different spots to upload videos of the home walkthroughs. There's, one that goes kind of global, and it's not, and then there's a non-branded one for the MLS, and then there's a branded one you can upload.
Yeah, we only have the non-branded slots in our MLS.
Okay.
And most people put a video slideshow of the photos that are already on the MLS. So it's a complete waste of time to
click is there video?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's happening a lot. I'm not real happy about it, but that's what it is. All right, man. Almost, that was about 25 minutes, but we went through all of the news stories. So you were good to go. If you just came here and you're like, I just want to hear what's going on in the news. I don't want to see how accurate these guys' predictions are.
I don't care about predictions.
Then turn this off right now. But if you are here to add your voice to the I think Matt Lamarche just turned us off. Matt, you got to stay. You're a guest. You're a guest on the show. You got to stay. We're paying you, Matt. Not really. Shh, don't tell him. But if you want to add your voice to the show, then hang out with us, because we are about to get into the prediction show. Wait, hang on. The prediction show. That's right. Where is this market headed? I'm adding him to the stream right now. What's up, guys?
Hey, before we go, I'm gonna have a quick shot of iced tea for these guys.
All right, and I will have a drink of my seltzer water.
Yeah, lots of rad content from you guys, and just support. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Always.
I'm hearing a little echo from somebody though. Somebody's got echo going on. Anyone not have headphones on?
It's Millage.
It's Millage. So Matt, it's fine. All we got to do is just mute you while you put in your headphones.
There we go.
Okay, so full disclosure, I'm going to kind of give over the show to my partner here, Dan. Like a really good co-host, I haven't looked at our 2022 to 2023 predictions. I've only browsed the document. So Dan, how are we going to do this? What's up first?
It is 7 pages, Ray. 7 pages of predictions.
So much work.
Well, I kind of did. I know. And I always procrastinate. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Then kind of get into other things. And then I'm also going to school for stuff. So I'm like, all right, I got to study. I got to work on this, my new crafts. And then I'm like, dude, it's 1 a.m. I need to start.
I should probably look at the show.
I should probably watch the show. Oh, there's some shade right there from Olivier. The show goes downhill from here. Matt is on.
Yeah, for real. I am. If you guys are in the contributor chat, I did share our rundown with you, and I can also put a link if you are available and in front of a good camera with good audio.
Yeah.
Then I can add you to the show. So if you want to join the show, that's one way to do it. The other way is to come up in Clubhouse, join the show that way. We have a lot of people on the stage. What's up, guys? Sherry, Christina, M. Smallhorn, Jennifer, Mike, Britt. What's up, Britt? Julie and Olivier. So those are all on deck.
And we will go through. So I'm gonna start off.
I'm here too.
Oh,
who said
hi.
that? Where's that?
Hi.
Did I skip somebody? I don't see.
This is Mia.
Oh, let me pull to refresh.
No problem, Ray.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, Miss Mia's here. What's up, Mia? How are you? Sorry, you got to pull to refresh to make sure I see all of them there.
Oh, okay. I had to pull the refresh. I had to go on YouTube to see your elf outfit.
Do you like it?
You're taking that away from me.
You like it?
I'm elf on the shelf.
Yeah, you just set me on your shelf. We're good. I'll move once a day.
Yes, but I like Dan's antlers better.
Oh, thank you.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I don't have seen Matt.
There's Matt's antlers. He's got bigger horns.
Oh, geez. Can't play that. We'll get copyrighted.
I know, that's about it.
So we're going to go through. Last year we did this. I kind of thought it off the top of my head, but now I want to go back to what we all think was the biggest story of the year. So we're going to hit that. And we're going to do our interest rate predictions. And then we are going to do market predictions, meaning what kind of market do you think we're going to be in next year? And then we have a big, bold prediction. And there are some good ones. So as we go through them, before we hit our actual predictions, we will go back to see if we were right, if we were close. And Ray has a point system that I haven't told him about that he needs to come up with right now. And he's going to grade who did the best.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can do a best and not best point system. That's an easy point system.
So let's start. Let's just start.
I think we're done. I'm the best.
Okay.
All right.
Ray,
We're finished, guys. Good show. Good show. Thanks for joining us.
Ray killed it. He did great. But let's start with what do you think? I'm going to start with Scap. Scap, what do you think the biggest story or the biggest trend or the biggest issue for real estate agents or appraisers was this year?
Well, first off, the biggest story was my BAM interview.
Yeah, that's true.
That is the biggest story out there. So if you haven't listened to it, you should. Yeah, it was huge. Now, actually, I think for the biggest story for me this year, appraisal wise, is just how slow, how we just went from one speed to the next, and it just stopped. Everything just stopped, and most appraisers out there weren't prepared for this. I think for the agent side of things, I think it's kind of the same thing. I think it was more so everybody just had that free run, and then boom, just came to a halt, and now everybody's scrambling. Yeah, everybody's scrambling. I mean, as far as big stories, I mean, I don't really follow too many of them on the realtor side of things, but I think the economy and I think, interest rates just kind of just going from one extreme to another, and then we just don't know where it's going, so it's kind of just some brief thoughts on it.
That's a good point. I mean, the biggest story of the year, the complete reversal of the market. That's an on point. Yeah. And your BAM appearance was probably number 2. I bet. Yeah.
In a relatively short amount of time, things changed. I mean, if you go back, if we could go back to that graph from the one story you're talking about, Ray, went back to 2008 when the crash happened. It went down pretty quickly, and then kind of sort of went up, and then right when the pandy hit, went straight down. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, think of it from an appraisal standpoint as opposed to an agent. I mean, obviously you judge your market based upon, obviously the buyers and sellers out there, what's happening, homes being listed. As an appraiser, I mean, it's just kind of the total opposite. We judge it more so on, seeing the refinances and the purchases, out there and seeing those orders come in. So at one point it was just the floodgates were wide open for about a year and a half. And then within a couple months, it just dried up. It was just done.
Yeah.
And that to me just was shocking to see.
Yeah, it's a solid point.
I base my year based on how many appraisers I fought with over a appraisal that should have never happened. I mean, how does one person have that much power in the I'm just kidding.
All right, let's not open that up. That's going to go a totally different direction.
I think I have that sound clip somewhere.
Yeah, it's there.
I'm seeing the prediction that Malarsh made last year, and it's on point. Do you remember your own prediction, Matt?
I think I said 7.
No, not
6
the
and a
rate.
half?
Not the rate.
Oh, sorry.
The biggest story of the year would be what? What do you think it was without knowing what your last year's prediction was?
Yeah, remember, I have it all down.
I don't remember, honestly. Genuinely do not remember.
Okay. Well, in your opinion, now looking back at the year, what was the biggest story?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Scap's point is exactly right. I was trying to find another real estate history where both buyers and sellers slowed down so quick. Activity just dropped. And you were talking about earlier, a lot of rents now being slowly chipped away at $100, $200 a month. So I think that's been the most interesting thing. And I think that's why so many people are scared and making decisions now based on fear and not, actual numbers, because we're still short, at least here in Atlanta, on inventory. So
I'm hearing that too.
But I have no idea what our prediction was. I say a lot of things.
You do say a lot of things. And right now you're saying a lot of things twice because your voice is getting remixed somehow.
Oh, nice.
It's like, oh, thanks. You're like your own, like, when the referee at a football stadium's like, offside. That's
Matt's the best.
First down. Yeah. I don't know why it's doing that. It's got to be something weird with audio. Anyway, Dan, Matt said that he predicted small players or investors are going to come into the fold.
And he was right.
I have to say he's absolutely right. Like one of the Matt, number one groups I'm working with are small investors. So
yeah.
Hopefully is the audio better now?
I mean, it's not as good of quality, but you're not repeating yourself. So
yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. No, I think we have seen a lot of that, right? Yeah. And I think that, if you look at the historical averages, 2030, they're predicting the $300,000 mark in 2020 for the average home is going to be 400. So, we have this discussion all the time with our investors about, it's a safe investment. It's just like the stock market. It goes up day in, day out. But, relatively speaking, compared to a lot of other investment vehicles, you don't have a safer option.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. So
that's why we're seeing a bunch of them come into the fold too.
That wasn't what I was just kind of talking when he was talking about, or we were talking about the big stories of the year, and he kind of threw out a prediction there. Pete also had one, and he predicted that Zillow being a broker is going to be a big impact for them. That they'll take all the big teams that were doing their iBuying via flex leads and take all their money or bring in another big team to do it.
I mean, that's not what was that? Is that right or wrong? It's kind of in the middle.
That's where you're the point system.
I'm going to say that one's in the middle because Zillow being a broker did have an impact. There's a lot of flex teams that are nursing the teat of Zillow,
right?
And forgetting how to do their work. All their money
getting rid of iBuying, which I think was
getting rid of
that was for Zillow. That was closer to the end of 2021,
right?
But all the other iBuyers falling off and failing and jumping out of the market and leaving the space is how a CEO would say it. I think that's kind of part of what he was saying, but he kind of more focused on flex.
Yeah. I don't think it was as big of a deal that we thought in a lot of markets, because
Which, if we read into his comment, what's happened in the last few months with less and less transactions happening, what has Zillow done to their flex program? They're saying, oh, we used to take 25 to 30%. Now we're going to take 35 to 40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that is true too.
I think he gets a little bit of a check mark for that, just because Pete is fantastic. Dude, as I was watching the show last year, I covered something he predicted 2 years in advance.
Yeah, that is true. He is Nostradamus of the show.
He is a prognosticator. He is.
I'm going to give, if I gave Matt a point, I'd give Pete 75% of a point. So I'd give him 75 basis points.
Make your notes. And honestly, you can give points for headwear right now, for being an appraiser right now. You can give points for anything, right? It's a
negative. That's a negative point system for
the backdrop.
Decorations.
Yeah.
I do like the lights.
For anything.
And then what's this prediction? You essentially predicted what, Dan?
That Ray, I predicted that Ray would change brokerages and go to real. I literally said it.
Yeah. There you go.
I literally said it. And it was kind of a roundabout way. And I didn't know he would leave one thing to go to another similar thing. Just was kind of in my opinion, a shiny new toy for Ray, but
a shiny new income stream. Yeah.
Yes. But I trust Ray so much with real estate in general and his team and best interests at hand. And I knew it was the right decision for him and his team. But I essentially predicted it in my ramblings at the beginning of our predictions. It was.
I think I remember now that you said that. You know what's funny about that is when Tim first came to me and said they were about to open Arkansas, I just straight up told him no. Tim used to be with EXP, and that wasn't my style or my brand. And he was like, "Hey, we're opening in Arkansas. We want you to do it." And I said, "No." He said, "Well, would you at least meet?" Tim and I have been friends for a long time. He's never approached me with EXP because I told him originally, like, "Hey, if you value our friendship, don't ever talk to me about it."
Yeah.
And so now he's with this new thing. He's like, "Hey, this is what we're doing." I was like, "No." He said, "Well, I've never asked you to listen to anything. Just listen to it. And if you're not interested, cool. I just want you to have the opportunity." I was like, "Fine. That's a great sales tactic, Tim. I've used that before, but you're a friend. I'll listen to you." So I met with him, and after the meeting, I sent him a couple of questions, and he was like, "Wait, you're interested?" It's like, yeah, like it made a lot of sense. It saved my agents money. I made more money. It's a good deal. So yeah, that I couldn't even see coming. So well done, Dan. I'm going to give you a full point for that. So you and Melarsh are tied.
All right, there we go.
All right. So real quickly,
Ray, I want to know what you think other than you leaving and going to Rio, what do you think the biggest story of the year was? Because I'm going to go really quickly on this because I think I'm going to do whatever you say.
I mean, there's two in my opinion. The reversal of what's happening in the market. I think that's obviously 100%. The biggest story. But in the industry as agents, what's going on with NAR and commissions and all that kind of stuff, it didn't shake out. It didn't finish this year, but I think that's a lot bigger story than we think, and it's going to affect how we do business. So I think that's a huge story. The third one I would say is the new riding with the NAR. It's just made a huge impact as NAR corporate is traveling around the country, meeting with real estate agents to really hear what they have to say.
This is sarcasm.
Spending all of that money to do that is just going to make a massive impact.
That is the beauty of Ray's trolling ability. That is it right there. If I didn't say anything, half the people would be like, "Wow, Ray, okay, okay."
He's really into the R. Let's go
R right now.
I'm just gonna start spelling my name with the realtor R at the beginning.
Yeah, Ray, trademark, and then AY.
All right. Anyway, so what's your prediction, Dan?
Well,
what do you think the biggest story of the year was?
I think it is the market. I really do. We kind of knew it had to happen, but having it happen and then having all of the rate hikes. I mean, I predicted.
Yeah.
I think all of us, because at the end of the year or at the show last year they were talking about 2 rate hikes. And then literally at the end of the show, the last few minutes, a story came in where they predicted 3, or they're saying there were going to be 3 rate hikes. And over the last 6 months, there's been 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, tons of rate hikes. And we're talking about the Fed rate hikes, not your lender rate hikes. But so I think that's one of the biggest stories. And then all of these big disruptors, as Ray and I have said since day one, since disruptors became a thing on our show, disruptors just failing horribly, losing how much? What is the biggest one? $982 million or something.
Yeah, nearly $1 billion would be accurate. You could say the loss of
nearly $1 billion, and then all of the iBuyers just jumping out. I mean, Zillow did buy Open Door or whatever, partnered with Open Door, but all of the iBuyers just failing, which again we predicted because it's not something that a regular buyer is going to want to do.
Yeah.
So I think those two things are kind of the biggest stories of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, so do we want to predict what the biggest news story is going to be for this year? Did we do that? Yeah, right. We want to predict that, or do we save that?
I'm going to start right now. The biggest news story of next year is that Matt is going to figure out his putt game on the faster greens.
Man, that's a risky prediction. That's I would bet money on it that's not going to happen.
I think that
I'm going to say
that should fall more into a bold prediction.
There is that was a little bit of a teaser. There is, I forget where it's at, but in here, in part of our banter during these predictions, Scap says he comments, Matt's going to finally figure out his how to putt on faster greens.
That's funny. Okay, guys. So if you're listening to us on Clubhouse, it's going to be harder for us to track on Clubhouse. We may just have to take screenshots and get to them later.
This isn't market. This isn't rate. This isn't bold predictions. Just right. What do you think a big story is going to be for next year? I mean, it could be anything. It could be the president. It could be Michael Elizabeth.
Big news story
had 2 back-to-back amazing predictions. I mean, aliens, Biden, lizard skin. I mean, the whole thing. She went all deep in.
Which that's not unproven. So we'll have to just leave that out there.
I've never seen my daughter's bearded dragon and Joe Biden in the same room at the same time. So,
I mean, that's a true statement.
I'm just saying.
All right, so drop in the comments. What's going to be the biggest news story for 2023? Doesn't have to be related to the real estate, but extra points if you do.
Julie, I see where you're going. I see where you're going, but save that for the bold predictions. I know where she's going with that.
I don't know that that's such a bold prediction given the competition of Georgia in the playoffs. It's not really. I mean, I think, Tennessee could probably whoop up on those teams, but we'll see. We'll see.
Do you want to go into rate predictions and where we were?
Well, I want to hear Matt's what's the biggest news story of 2023, Matt?
Well, I think Julie's right. We don't have any competition, so we'll probably end up winning.
But that's why it's not a big news story. I mean, it's really not. No.
For any Georgia or Atlanta fans of anything, that is huge. We lost.
It's going to be the lowest televised championship that they've had in the last 15 years.
Like when the Yankees and Dodgers play, it's like, oh God, whatever.
It's going to be Georgia versus Michigan, and people are going to be like, that's not even a game. That's like Georgia. No, it's not even a game.
Pretty legit.
No, I do want to make it real estate related because I think there's a lot of really smart economists and people and agents that you guys talk to and that we talk to on a weekly basis in this show here. And I think that there's actually going to be a lot more opportunity created next year. I think it's going to be really flat. I think we're going to see sales go down and volume go down and prices are going to kind of hold. I don't think we're going to see the fall off that a lot of these news outlets are using for their, clickable links and stuff. But I think it's going to be pretty flat. Now, I will point out that, and I think this can go, somewhere into the show notes if you'd like. But NAR did release a little thing here, a little infographic, if you will, where they predicted that, out of almost 5 million sales, Atlanta, Georgia would be number 1 on the markets to watch there. So I am excited about that. I think there will be a lot of opportunity created as a result. I'm also interested to see what renewals look like at the NAR level, also at the local level, because I think there's going to be a lot of people that go, I got to work really, really hard now for the same results. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm
going to say it. So when I'm watching this at 4 a.m. next year, I'm going to say it because he's got to go under Matt's bold predictions and market predictions. He's kind of covering a couple areas here. So I'm going to say that, and I'll move him to that category at 4 a.m. Southern California time in December next year.
That's good. I like that, Matt.
I like that a lot. That's good.
Scap, what's the biggest news story of 2023?
I think real estate related is just going to be flat. I think we're not going to see much gains. We're not going to see a lot of things going down. I think it's just going to be flat, going into 2023, pretty much across the board. We are
For the
seeing a
record,
little
I'm
bit-
like, guys, what's the biggest news story? And you're like, no news.
Right.
pretty much.
Nothing. It's gonna be
Well,
nothing.
okay, I'll give you the biggest news story that's going to happen in 2023. This guy right here passing his agent's test, becoming an agent and working in the Atlanta market, as well as having his appraiser license.
What? Not a conflict of interest.
Not at all.
I have to learn how to wear each hat separately, but yes, I took my classes. I will be taking my test in 2023 and taking my talents to somebody, and we'll see what happens.
That's cool, dude.
This is not my bold prediction.
I know a place.
Biggest story of 2023. I'm going to say it right now. You ready?
Yeah.
DeSantis gets the nod over Trump. I'm going to say that.
Oh.
I'm going to say that.
I don't know if you guys have figured it out or not, but I'm kind of a staunch conservative, and that would be great. I would like that.
You're not super staunch, by the way, but you're a conservative. You're not staunch.
I mean, fiscally, yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Right.
I want to save as
Fiscally.
much money as possible.
Yeah,
In the context of the show, he is though.
Well, you have
Yeah.
because I'm the crazy liberal.
Remember, we got to battle it out. Battle it out.
Sorry,
You
sorry,
liberal idiot. Okay.
Right wing taco.
That's good. All right, Dan, what's your biggest news story?
I just said it. I think
That's it. Okay, that's the one.
DeSantis is going to get the nod over Trump.
Okay. Biggest news story.
Make it not real estate because we're going way too market specific here. So
I'll go political. I'll go political.
All right.
They're gonna have to put Biden in a home. I mean,
dude,
there's a point. There's a point with dementia medicine that it runs out. Just so you know, I know
working.
this. It does. There's a point that it stops working. And it's usually about 2 to 3 years in.
Yeah,
he's there. There was yesterday. He was like at a plant or something, and he was finished speaking at a plant. And he just walks off and starts walking through the plant, and people are like, "Oh, come this way." I mean, they're gonna have to do something, man. It's getting bad. So I think they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to do something.
Kamala will have something to do.
If he runs again, it's just like, I mean, they're basically just giving it to the conservatives. But all right,
they're giving whoever runs on the other side will win. He can't win again.
So that's my prediction. Drop your predictions in the comment right now so that when Dan watches this, he can go back and look at these comments and figure out exactly what you guys are saying. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, a Clubhouse, go ahead and drop them in the comment. We're going to screenshot the chat at the very end of the show. Yeah. It's time-stamped and everything. That way he can find it. All right.
That's usually how I do it. So I watch it with comments on, so it's time-stamped, and that's how I usually comment. Although this last night, meaning I didn't watch all the comments because I didn't really care. And it was still 6 pages. So anyway,
I mean, I'm telling you, if you just pop by this show and make a comment and you don't appear at all for the rest of the year, we're not going to use your comment. So just don't even bother. But if you stay involved, if you show up, then we'd love to have you on, just like these two guys down there.
We see your name, so we know who you are. Spread the love, spread the word. So you want to get into rate predictions?
Yeah, let's go rate predict. I don't have a transition. Let me find a good transition. Hang on. What would be a good rate? Oh, this is a good rate talk.
A bomb dropping.
I think that's a good. We're probably going to be banned in Russia now for sharing that. But
I thought that was
Russia. Yeah, Russia bans mainly careless whisper. If we play that, we're banned in Russia. We got banned in Russia.
Like saxophone. They hate it.
Yeah, they hate the saxophone in Russia.
Melissa says that Biden is going to get put in one of those kitty leashes, and his will have a turtle or something on the back
attached to Kamala.
Yeah, just holding him around. Joe.
If you haven't seen the video of Kamala Harris's speechwriter, it's hilarious.
I actually the crazy
so
left-wing leftist, extreme leftist sent that to Ray, by the way.
It's so good. It's really gosh, it's really
don't give anything else away of what
I'm not going to give anything away.
It is hilarious. I can send it to whoever wants to see it. Okay, predictions.
Rates. Let's first talk about how close we were on the rates.
I'm gonna kind of rip through these because there's a lot, and then I can hit where we kind of made outside the ball. So or outside the.
Is it possible to group? Is it possible to group everyone that didn't hit it and then we'll talk about all the people, obviously including me, that did get it right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's a great idea. So I will group them by who was right.
Okay.
Hold on, real quick here. Let's see. Hold on.
Do the number. He's got to do the number crunch.
Yeah, my bad. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let's. Nope. It's the wrong app, Dan. Sorry, my boomer fingers.
Yep. No worries.
This times this, and I have to carry it. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so it's.
All right. So who is right? No one.
And not even close. So there were 3 predictions. 3 of them over 4. I was at 4.1. There was at 4.125, which I'll get the actual names here in a second. And then I think it was Smallhorn. I forget who it was, but again, I have that written down. That was 4.25. Ray.
I'm looking at him. I'm looking. Let me see if I can find.
Ray was the lowest. Now we don't want to say he was the furthest off, but he was the lowest. He said 3.65.
Can we just? I was the most optimistic.
You were the outlier here.
I had an optimistic view of what the rates would be.
Okay, so now my first one here at 33 minutes and 51 seconds into the show, Pete predicts that they will have to raise rates because of inflation. Dead on.
Accurate.
Dead on. But then he goes on to say, he totally ruins it, by the way, and he says that it'll stand or fall at 3.85.
Somebody needs to ping Pete. Ping Pete. I think he couldn't join us today, but y'all all ping Pete. Everybody that knows Pete Thorpe.
There is one prediction we are going to need to see him, and I don't think, but we're going to need to see him. I don't know that you can. Or one when we get towards the end of the show. So
I'm just going to go through some of these real fast on your rundown that you have. Let's see. Pete predicts they'll have to raise rates. Stay under 4 at 3.85. Millar says 3.75. You're totally wrong, Matt. You idiot.
Actually, if I may, point of clarification. I included a 3.75 asterisk, and then I don't think it made in the show notes.
It's weird. I don't see. I did put an asterisk on his prediction. That is true. That is right there.
Just for good measure.
Yeah. I have it later. I have.
Julie says 3.75. Ray, incredibly smart, but very optimistic view on the economy, said 3.125. Dan said inflation, the Fed predicting 2 rate hikes. He was only off by 3.
4.
Let's see. Then said 4.1. So that's pretty good. Ray said that if they do 2 rate hikes, a quarter point, it'll be 3.65.
But wait, I want to get back to Matt because I want to give him a little bit of credit. He says if Zillow and other iBuyers keep releasing properties and there's a massive shift in the way we pay commissions, he might have to revise, but he's stuck with his 3.75. So there's his asterisk.
Oh man, you were so close to like doing a really good revision there, and then you just stuck with yourself. So
yeah.
You idiot.
Andy predicted the same thing and then stayed at 4.1.
Andy predicted rates will go up 3 times. He was only 2 off. Finished at 3.75. All right. So what is our prediction coming up? You guys drop your rate predictions. Let me tell you what it is today. It is 6.325. We use it the same little calculator every year. I find it there, and I just type in what are interest rates today. The interest rate today is 6.352.
30-year fixed?
30-year fixed rate. Okay. That's the one we look at. So based on that, what do you guys think the interest rate will be at the end of 2023? Usually like 2 weeks before the end, if you want to get like real accurate with it. Drop it in the comments. Put it on the YouTube comments. Drop it on to Clubhouse. I'm going to take these 3 guys. We'll go with you live. Let's start with Matt because he's Mr. Asterisk. What do you think the rate is going to be for the 30-year fixed? Oh, he may have froze. Are you there, Matt? No, there he is. Okay. What's the 30-year fixed? You guys should get internet in Georgia. What's the 30-year fixed rate at the end of 2023?
I've done a lot of thinking on this.
Oh boy.
Which means absolutely none.
So I'm going to start with the asterisks. That way it doesn't get missed.
Good.
No, I think it's going to be in the fives, and I'm going to say 5.75.
5.75. So you think it's going to go down? The rate's going to go down compared to what
I
it's
do. I think we're going to see the opposite of this year, right? It started out low and then slowly crept up. I think it's going to stay where it is for the first 6 months, and then it's going to start to taper off because buyers and sellers are going to go, stop freaking out, everybody. Like, this is the new normal. We got to get back into the market. Buyers, sellers, creates the whole cycle. So 5.75, asterisk before and after, in quotations, annotated, and
This is also funny. Julie Moon said she's dying that 3.85 was considered a hike last year.
Yeah, a big hike, right?
Yeah. Oh man, if there was anyone on the show that was like 7, I mean, we would have been like worshiping at their feet right now. All right, Scap.
But we would have been calling them a moron a year ago.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, you idiot," and then bam, they were exactly right. Scap, what's the rate going to be?
I'm going to channel my inner prices right here now that Matt went first, and I'm going to go with 5.85.
5.85. So Matt says 5. This is good. Matt said 5.75. Scap says 5.85, going up 1/10 of a point. Is that 10? Yeah, 1/10 of a point.
Yeah.
Let's just say, though, the appraiser was higher than the agent for the first time ever.
Well played.
That's really good. All right, Dan, what's the rate, man?
I am currently looking. I'm trying to find some historical data that tells me it's going to stay in the 5s. I'm really trying to see it. And
do you want my spreadsheet, Dan?
No, I have it. I have my spreadsheet up.
No, do you want my historical research that me and Lawrence put together for you?
No, because then you'll put an asterisk on it. I don't want an asterisk on mine. So I'm going to say it's going to be pretty volatile. It's going to go back up over 6 a little bit. It's going to come back down, and then it'll settle. God, this is tough because I'm really, really competitive, and I want to be right so bad right now. I'm going to say that it'll settle. End of the year, mid-5s. My number is 5.5. 5.5.
5.5. So all of you are in the 5s.
I believe that we're going to be in the 5s for sure. I don't see why it would, because we saw why it had to go up to 7, right? But that's been tapering off. But I still predict the volatility will be there because the Fed doesn't really communicate with the American people properly. They just kind of do some stuff. There'll be some panic because of the media and all the dumb headlines we have to get through during our next year's shows. But I think they'll settle in the mid 5s there. That's my asterisk prediction. But if I'm having a number, I'll say 5.5.
Good. I like it. Okay. So here's my prediction. Fed is going to raise the rates next time 0.5 again, and then he'll do 0.25 increases. And then I think he'll wait to see what happens, probably only going up another quarter point or maybe even holding for the first time towards the end of the year next year. I think rates are going to stay about where they are. So I'm going to predict a 6% on there. So that's my
flat 6%.
Flat. I'm going to go flat 6. Okay. I think that's where they're going to be. Mike said, we'll get to some of your chat predictions here. 6.875. Howard Broadsley. Thanks for listening, bud. He said 6%. Dusty said another rate hike or 2, then a pause. And she thinks it'll end below 6. Well, how far below 6? Let's get accurate.
She said 5.895 is her prediction.
Oh, there it is right there. 5.895. Yeah. Okay, good. Melissa Marr says 5.83. Peggy 5.75.
Prices writing each other.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's the rate hikes, the rate hike predictions.
So last year I win because I was the highest. I'm excluding 2 other predictions because they're not on the show. So I win because I was the highest. Yeah. And next year I'm going to win because I'm the lowest.
Highest without going over. If you go by that old school of thought, then you got.
Yeah, I won. I was off by 3% or 2.
So you get a point. Still. You get a point for that.
All right, I win.
No one else gets points because they were so far off.
No one else even went into the 4s.
No. All right, so let's talk about market predictions.
I'm just feeling so lonely. I'm feeling so lonely here. I've got no points because I didn't do crap last year. But hey,
hey, no, that's why you got to be here.
Yeah,
you know,
you have some coming up. You will get points.
Oh, see, there you go.
I like this.
Maybe I'm the point guy. So let's. Jack Atteridge, market predictions. He said the inventory will have first quarter 22 versus 2021 in most markets. I would say that's pretty all right. Are you listening, Jack? He said he didn't want to miss this show today, so hopefully he's with us. Pete says the market will be a little more the same. He doesn't believe the 5.5 or 6 months of inventory as reported at the end of 2021.
We had a big discussion about that because it said it was 5 million or 6, some crazy amount of units. And I was like, I'm not seeing that. I'm still seeing a month of inventory here, 28 days of inventory around me. But then all of a sudden, if I go national, it's got to be, I don't know. I've never understood that. I don't get it. A lot of other areas, you guys do a lot more new construction. I think that plays into days on the market or total inventory. So I just don't see it. And I'm still not seeing a ton of inventory. We have a lot more than a year ago, but
Matt, how many months of inventory do you have right now?
2 months.
2 months. All right. Yeah. You don't get a point.
Did I predict more? Oh,
you did. Yeah. You predicted 3, 4, or 5 months of inventory. Wow. So you predicted every number except 2. You were at 1.3 months of supply last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1.3.
Well, if interest rates had stayed at 3.75, like I predicted, we probably would have more inventory. Right. So.
Yeah, one prediction goes with the other then.
Well, that's how we incentivize sellers, lower interest rates and more first-time home buyer credits and all these things.
Dan says he thinks it'll be a seller's market, but not as extreme as it has been. He says, quote, I think it'll be a pretty chill seller's market. Hopefully more people will be selling because they'll realize that they've made a lot of money in the last couple of years and they don't have to worry about where they're going.
What? I'm good.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. If there was a little more inventory, I would probably give you the point there because you said they don't have to worry about where they're going. People do worry about that because of
I'm going to take 0.8 of a point though. Yeah, I'm going to need 0.8 of a point on that one.
I'll give you that.
Wait, you skipped one.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to let you cover some of those I skipped. I just wanted to cover yours.
Julie says that she thinks we'll still be in a seller's market. Remember, she was on the show with us last year. And then quote, I put everything in quotes, like they actually said these things. We're not going to see much increase in construction whatsoever. And that's going to be the critical factor in how inventory goes. That's legit.
Mm-hmm.
But then she goes on to say, I think we're going to have less houses on the market next year. Now, is that the case?
I don't know about Athens, but not in Atlanta.
Yeah, so I think that she has more inventory. I'm guessing that she has more inventory in the market because that was a pretty bold statement right there. But she thought that spring is going to be super crazy, and anybody who didn't sell last year is going to try and sell in the spring for sure, so that they don't miss out again. Now that part right there, because remember when the market changed? It was March for me. It was March, April, pretty much April Fool's Day. It was like, oh, market's different, and we talked about on the show how it was different. Now the lagging indicator known as the media, they were way behind us on that, but we were talking about the market changing in April, and the media didn't catch up for another 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was right on.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I was saying. You just always say things better than I do.
Ray says that we will still be a seller's market. Can we agree? Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you Google it, there'll be something like 7.5 months of supply. I just Googled it. There's 6 months of supply nationally. Then I said, quote, everyone's going to say, does it feel like that? Because there's still multiple offers.
Right. There you go.
Thank you. If rates continue to go up, there'll be some buyers that enter the market and some buyers that can no longer enter the market. It's going to discourage some buyers from the market. Yes. Yeah. If less buyers are in the market, okay, well, that didn't happen. But if less buyers are in the market, inventory don't feel different. But instead of 7 and 8 offers on the property, you're going to have 3 or 4. I would say that's,
it's close. I don't know if that's true on all of them, because some of my listings sit and get one offer after 2 weeks. So I don't know.
If you're in California, Dan, tell me if this is true. If you're in California, you will be able to purchase a home for list price.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. He said that straight up.
I said that, but is that what's happening?
Yeah, and less, and closing cost covers, which if you keep reading, I don't know, maybe it wasn't in here. You said it somewhere. Maybe there you go.
I said it's going to feel different, but the numbers are going to be about the same.
But then keep going. You said locally. Now I don't know if you mean you're locally or just locally for each agent individually, you're going to be able to purchase a home and get some closing costs covered. That's 100% true.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get 10 points for that.
All of a sudden, raising the lead.
That was pretty dang accurate. I mean, how many points did I get? That's like one after another after another. It's like I feel like Johnny Carson. You know, just I could tell you exactly what's in the envelope right now.
Karnak, and then
the great Karnak.
and then I added to our prediction. I said you'll see lots more of home price gains slow headlines, which we did an entire show about that. So I'm going to take 12 points on that one to push back into the lead.
People don't remember this, but last year we did not see home price gains slow. That wasn't even a headline. And we kept telling people like, it's coming. And then bam.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
So, okay. So where do we go from here, Dan? Do we do what's this prediction? Market prediction?
Yeah, this is still market. So Melissa said 30 offers last year, meaning 2020 down to 10 this year, 2021. So 5 next year. You agreed with that. And then Julie steps in and says she feels like that was skewed. She had a property, and this I think was very, very telling. And it was an interesting comment from a specific agent. You know, she had a property that had 10 offers, but could have had 20 because people bowed out knowing that it was going to get us an insane amount of offers. And that's kind of gone now. That sentiment anyway is gone now. So I think she's a little bit right there. And then Jack Adderidge on Clubhouse, he says that he would totally agree with whoever says we will see more modest gains. He states that we're starved for new construction nationally and that they don't see a ton of new construction in his market or in the Northeast. He says that they'll still be struggling for inventory in the first quarter and that zoning changes for accessory buildings will also prevent more inventory coming onto the market. I thought that one
interesting.
And then I feel
like that's kind of gotten the other way in some of these areas.
That's opposite. I do have to say that's opposite because I kind of agreed with him at the time. You know that people are just going to stay in their homes and add on an ADU, and an accessory dwelling unit. But I don't know if that's the case. I've seen a little bit of it, but not a ton, not as much as I expected. And then I gotta hit Ryan Bokros's comments. So he was on Facebook and he said mostly agree with everyone else. However, if inflation doesn't get under control, we'll see the market stagnate a bit. It will be a natural seller's market by way of lack of inventory. But if rates go up significantly, buyers will balk.
I think you're exactly right, Ryan. I'm only sad that you can't be here to enjoy it.
Dude, yeah, however many points you want to give him, Ray, but it's got to be a lot. I
would say a 1 point for sure.
On. So you got 10 points for being half right, and he gives 1. Okay.
Oh, I was accurate on like 5 statements. No, okay. I'll only give myself 2 points. I think he gets 1 point for that. That's one real tight, accurate statement.
That's a legit point, though, with an asterisk next to it that actually means more than whatever Ray ends up with. Ryan's gonna win because that prediction was so good.
No, that's his only one. I've made other predictions, so yeah. Jack Adderidge.
We can go into the bold if you like.
Jack Adderidge says that he totally agrees with whoever says that we will see more modest gains. Yeah, and I think that happened too. Yeah, he says they'll still be struggling for inventory the first quarter. Yep,
slow. Yeah.
Okay, so what do we want to take the? We have some more comments. I do want to get to Mike's earlier comment just to make sure it's in the. We may have to go back. Dan, 4 a.m. in 2023.
Yeah,
I'm going back up to when Mike made a comment about the 7%. He said, where is it?
6.8.
Rates will average over 7% in 2023. Lots of lenders will be gone or a skeleton of what they are. Rocket better, Loan Depot, fewer investors willing to put money into the MBS.
I'm going to also put that into bold predictions. That's pretty bold to stay over 7, average over 7, by the way. He says average over 7. And then to say that Rocket will be a skeleton. Rocket's the biggest player right now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a huge player.
I'm the bold agent on Instagram.
He is the bold agent on Instagram.
Yeah, he has to make these predictions to live up to his name.
He goes on to say that foreclosures are going to happen.
Loan Depot is about to get delisted.
Loan Depot is about to be delisted. Loan Depot is one of our highest viewed videos for whatever reason. We did a little segment on what's going on with Loan Depot.
2,500 views for some reason.
Mike just said, and you could just say this on Clubhouse, but he said that foreclosures are going to happen again. More inventory, a buyer's market, unemployment will go up 5.5%. Inflation will stay above 5% as well. Conflicting forces will keep prices within 7% of now. I mean, I love the accuracy of his statement.
Nice work. I love that.
I know now to give you a point.
I want the trophy next year.
He's going for it, man.
So I gotta put it out there.
Take notes. That's exactly what you do. I mean, I would give myself more points for that string of multiple predictions that came absolutely accurate. Impressive. But if everything's accurate to what Mike is saying, then next year he's going to be the big points gainer there.
But you got to remember, Ray controls the point system. He can give himself 10% if he wants, or 10 points if he wants. So,
yeah. Okay. So what is our, wait, is that in the bold prediction or the market prediction? Oh, that's a bold prediction. Okay. So back up here in the market prediction. Let's take some market predictions now. So if you guys have a prediction about what's going to happen in the market, supply and demand is usually kind of what we're referring to, inventory, home prices. What are you going to see? What's the narrative that the media will say? And then what's actually happening? We'd love it when you can ping both of those. Yeah. But go ahead and drop a comment on Clubhouse or drop it on YouTube. We'll review those comments for next year and tell you how wrong you are. But if you're a listener to our show, you're probably accurate.
Yeah.
Just saying. We're the smartest show we're the smartest real estate show broadcasting in 4 locations at 12 o'clock Central on Wednesday. So
on the planet. Do you want to go with Scap first for?
Yeah, let's go Scap.
Market prediction.
Mr. Scap, what's your market prediction, you realtor plus appraiser?
Don't call me that yet. I am just an appraiser right now. But like I said earlier, I think we're just going to be flat next year. I don't think we're going to see, it become a seller's market or a buyer's market. I think we're going to kind of be right where we are right now. I think ending this year, going into next year, it's just going to kind of stay that way. And then, I mean, who knows what's really going to happen, but my prediction is we're going to kind of just be flat throughout the whole year. I don't think we're going to see anything high or low. It's just going to be flat.
It's just going to be flat. All right. So that's kind of in your, like, what's the biggest news? The biggest news is no news. Kind of same.
Yeah. Correct.
Cool. I love it. Mr. Malarsh.
I think Scap is right. I think the only difference here is that I think people now are reacting faster. And, we saw this in the last 2.5 years, at least locally here in Atlanta, and talking with other agents on Clubhouse and through the show here. It seems like people are making moves faster. They don't take their time to think about some of these things, or they've been on the sidelines thinking, and now they're ready to take action. So I do think we're probably going to see inventory tick up a little bit more. I don't think we're going to get back to a balanced market. I'm predicting it's still going to be a seller's market this time next year. However, the pent-up demand that at least exists here in Atlanta is still very, very high. There are a ton of buyers that bought over the last 3 to 5 years that hate their home, but they love their interest rate. And, I don't care what you say about interest rates, everything's relative. And if you have the opportunity to go buy a better house or in a better school district, there's a lot of other motivators and factors that a lot of people didn't consider in the last couple of years. I think they're going to reconsider things and go, yeah, we're going to pay a little bit more for that area, for that school system, or for that city. But I think in the short term, it's a better decision. So I think in the first quarter, we're going to see about what we've seen for the last 6 months. Like Dan said earlier, we saw the writing on the wall in April, May, and June. And then the media kind of August and September was like, the sky is falling. And it was like, well, not really. It's kind of been a little bit slower. But I think the problem for most agents is they're looking at the last 2 years and comparing everything in the last 2 years to today. And you can't do that. That's not, it's not good for your business. So,
So do you think these people with the super low interest rates who are moving are going to keep their house at that super low interest rate? Or do you think they'll actually list it to buy the?
I think he's saying not if they hated it. If they bought because they wanted to buy at 2.2% and they hate it, I think.
I don't take issue with the bold agent over there. I don't think we're going to see any foreclosures. And I mean that tongue in cheek. There's going to be some. And I think the forbearance thing is definitely going to start to show some of the issues that we've seen in the last 2.5, 3 years. It's going to become more prevalent. We're going to be talking about it, but the actual boots on the ground, how many people are getting foreclosed on, is going to be such an insignificant number. There's so much more equity. I mean, if you look at the graphs now, equity versus value, I mean, it's off the charts. Equity is ridiculous relative to the market. So I think they're going to go and sell their house and they're going to go back to renting, or they're going to downsize or right size or, whatever else. I don't think we're going to see the foreclosures that people are predicting.
Yeah. Awesome.
I have to interject on that that thought there, because we are starting to see as appraisers, again, we get to see things differently than agents do, because we're getting those orders from Fannie Mae or from the lenders out there, and we are starting to see more foreclosures come on out there. We are starting to see short sales and uptick in short sales. One of my good friends, Ryan Lundquist, out of Sacramento, he does a lot of deep analysis out there in his market area, and he's starting to see an uptick more in his market of short sales, reverse mortgages going bad, as well as foreclosures upticking as well. So I think we're going to see more than you think, Matt, but not a crazy amount.
I think it's going to be mostly a hit it and quit it scenario.
That's what she said.
Because just the foreclosure market in general is going to come on really strong at the beginning of the year and even mid-year, but that's only because there's been 2 years where proper foreclosures haven't been able to happen due to the moratorium on foreclosures. So you have like 2 years of pent up foreclosure demand that's going to hit the market. All the headlines are going to freak out about it, but in reality, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I think what Matt said, as a percentage of sales, it's still going to make up a low portion of those sales, but I would anticipate it being double or triple what it was in 2019, but that also being very okay, because it's just 2 years that they weren't able to foreclose on properties. People didn't pay their bill. They're still going to foreclose on those properties. And it's just the normal people that would normally be foreclosed on are going to get foreclosed on, but they're going to get foreclosed on this year. I think it would be smart of banks to kind of spread those out, but I don't know that many of them will.
Well, I was going to say that, we ran into the scenario, and this is an anecdotal piece, so it's only worth what it's worth. There's always going to be that. Right. There's going to be some level of foreclosures because people are irresponsible with their money. They go out and get a HELOC to go buy a bass boat or whatever else. Of course, you're going to get foreclosed on. To me, those are the insignificant, minority. We're not talking about an 07, 08, 09, like mass market foreclosures.
It's not going to be what it was. Dan, what is your market prediction for the year?
I mean, I agree with everyone. I think it'll be flat. I do think that there are going to be some. Now, price decreases, not value decreases, price decreases. But part of my prediction will be that the media is going to take this like they've been doing, and they're going to run with it. And they're going to just say, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Because they don't, in 5 years of doing this show, Ray, we've had one instance of a story where we went, oh, yeah, that was the headline. But literally every other time we read a headline that says, Zillow is about to do this and it's going to take your job. You're going to lose your job, or the market has crashed and you're going to lose your job. Or every time we get into the thing, it's like, oh, so it was a 0.2% decrease. So I think we are going to see price decreases because we have to. And if they keep raising rates, it's going to put pressure on that. Buyers aren't going to want to do that. So I kind of disagree with Matt there. If you hate your home and you bought it at 2.5%, I think you're going to sell it. I do. But if rates stay up, while Mike V is saying averaging over 7, that's going to put a lot of pressures on that upward moving prices, not values, that we've seen over the last 2+ years, 2.5 years. So I'm going to say it's a flat market. We're going to see some decreases. I don't think it'll be a full correction because that would take quite a bit of effort to do by the Fed. And a lot of buyers just leaving the market and saying, we just don't want to pay anything for any of these houses. It's got to come down 10% for us to pay what you want for that house. I don't see that happening. But the media will run a lot of stories that are scary because it's going to be a flat year. There's not going to be much going on. They are going to have to print something that scares people into reading and scares people into staying in their homes.
Dusty Martin said flat as far as market value. Is that what you're saying?
Prices, what people can ask for their homes. So yeah. So you can buy a house for asking, but just asking isn't going to be pushed.
It's not going to be going up what it was. The asking at the beginning of the year is going to be similar to the asking at the end of the year.
Yeah, and Ray explains it great. So if a year ago a house was worth $350, but I could ask $375 and get $385, that's awesome. Now, was my house worth $385? No. House is still worth $350. But I can't ask $375 anymore. I can only ask $350, maybe $355 nowadays.
Yeah.
So
the aspirational sales prices are going to go down because people are going to realize that that's not working anymore.
Or I just come in and actually appraise it a lot lower for all of you. Make it
Scab
easy.
just kills the deal. Deal killer Scab. Thanks, buddy.
Come on, you know I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding.
Well, so Ray or Dan, what's the strategy then? Because normally we would price ahead of the market, but if the market's not moving up or down, if it's going to be flat, what's the plan?
The basic strategy is try for a desktop underwriter. That way you avoid Scab.
Yeah.
Then I think it's the same strategy as it was though. Like when the market was running away and people are like, what do you want to price it at? Okay, great. Let's price it at that, Mr. Seller. Right. We were still advising our clients based on what the solds were. We were looking at the average increase in the average list to sell price ratios and pricing just under that so that we were sure to sell our properties. Right. That's the same thing that we're going to be doing in a down market. It's the same thing we're going to be doing in a flat market. What is the average price of the homes? How can we price just under that to make sure that we're competitive and can sell in the first 30 days or less? When the market was 120-day average here, we were averaging 30 days or less. And the way we did it is to look at we did 3 different types of analyses. The first analysis was a comparative market analysis that we all do, just comparing homes to comparable sales. You know, it's the same thing we all do, 3 months, 6 months. We're going to be looking at more 6-month numbers as the year goes on. But right now we're still kind of looking at the last 3 months because it was a different market. Then we'll do a competitive listing analysis and we'll say, okay, if we could price the property in that range, then how is it going to compare to other properties that are currently listed? And how sure are we that we can beat those properties based on their current condition? Right. And so that really kind of dials it in for us and lets us know if we should be higher or lower compared to the competition. Then we look at the absorption rate analysis. Now, for the last 2 years, the absorption rate analysis has been like 0. Like it's not 100%, right? It's no different. You list a property, it sells. You list a property, it sells. It's just what prices it sell for changes every time. Well, I think the absorption rate analysis is going to become more of a key figure as properties average longer than 30 days on the market, because then you can tell like, well, you know, you only have a 75% absorption. So if you had 10 properties listed, only about 70 of them actually went under contract. There was 3 left. So we know that in order to sell your price in 30 days or less, we have to be competitive within the top 70% of homes that are currently listed. And so then we look at the pricing again, we look at the condition again to make sure it's accurate. This is the same analysis we've used since 2013. It's the same exact thing. So I don't think that's going to change for most agents. I just think the days of taking a listing at whatever the seller said, I think those days are over. Gone. And I think those days are over for the average agent. We never did that, but I think those days are over for the average agent. We tried to educate our sellers and let them know how to best position themselves to get the most money possible. And that's what they would do. But the average agent, the 87% of agents that fail in the first 2 years, they're going to be ones that struggle, that don't know how to do those analyses. Okay. So my market prediction, 8 months of supply.
So you're doubling down on last year's and going even more.
Yeah, right now it's I said 7 to 8. It is 6. So I think it's pretty accurate. I think it's going to be 8 months of supply. It's still not going to feel like 8 months of supply because real estate agents are going to be selling a lot of houses, because in March, a lot of buyers are going to be coming back to the market. It's going to be really exciting for real estate agents that haven't had business in 3 months. And they're going to say, wow, this is great. I'm super busy. And the reason why is because the Fed is going to raise rates, but it's not going to make that much of a difference on the actual rate. So people are going to get used to the 6%, and they're going to be looking around their house at all the crap and all the stuff and all the kids running around and be like, we got to move. It's just going to be a better life. I think
that circles back to what Matt was saying.
Yeah. Right. It's just going to be the normal ebb and flow of people that have to move, jobs. There's a lot of reasons that people move, deaths in the family, divorces, whatever. And buyers are going to see that and have some opportunities there. So the trick is it going to happen in the luxury market? Is it going to happen in the normal market? I think luxury market is going to be back up to that 18-month supply. Luxury market is going to be stagnant. I think everywhere else is going to do well.
So Dusty begs the question are you betting on a buyer's market? No.
So traditionally a normal market is about 6 months. That's what the national averages are. So if it's a 6 month, it's a normal. It's not really a buyer, not really a seller. It depends on the transaction. 8 months of supply is still kind of leaning towards normal or leaning towards buyer, but it's still considered in some places a normal market. When it gets to 9+ months of supply, that's when it's really leaning towards buyers. So what do we call a buyer's market? Is it a buyer's market if you could purchase a property at list price and get some of your closing costs paid? Some people will say, yeah, that's definitely a buyer's market.
But
I think that's the market that we're going to be in.
Not individual markets. Because I remember when we sold in 2011, That was a buyer's market. 2011 was 100% a buyer's market. They had us by the nuts, and pretty much we had to do what they wanted. You know, we set our price, and luckily we got the price, but we fixed this, we fixed that, we covered this, you know, that was a buyer's market.
So Ray, when do you think 8 months of inventory is going to hit? Is it going to be March? Is it going to be this time next year?
Got to be way later than that.
I think we're looking at September. So what I think is going to happen is there's going to be an increase in inventory in the summer months due to everybody trying to get situated and sell their house so that they can be in the new school system by August or whatnot. Then there's going to be leftover inventory because those people are like, well, they're still going to have some aspirational sales prices in there. And those people are going to be the ones that linger on the market, and it's going to create an 8-month supply in September, October, November.
Yeah, those aspirational prices I think are going to pretty much go away, but I think you're right, Ray. There'll be a little hangover where people still no. I've been watching the market for 35 years, and I know how this market goes. And I still had 5 or 6 of those this year since the market has changed in the last 8 months. And it'll mostly go away, but there's still going to be the stubborn ones. No. In the beginning of 2020, I could have gotten 780 grand for this house. Now you're telling me it's 460. Well,
we've had 50% increases for the last 2 years, so my home should be worth 100% more
when I do the math.
But you're just gonna have to tell your clients, you don't have to take your word for it. Just look at the market, right? So that's a lame stuff. I tried for that one. It was good. So the next prediction is kind of along the market, but I think Hispanic home ownership is going to go up drastically too. So I think the more builders that employ laborers and things like that, I think you're going to see Hispanic home ownership go through the roof in this next year. But that's just an additional prediction there. That's based on what I'm seeing on the calls and stuff that we're getting. I think it's going to be great.
All right, so now we're going bold predictions.
Let's go to bold predictions. And while you intro the bold predictions, Dan, I'm gonna have to drop myself off because somebody's at my door. I'm gonna go answer the door like this, and I will be right back. So you take it from here.
Really, really weird, Ray. Go do that. But I'm gonna say something that's really, really weird. You did this at this exact same time last year.
Seriously? Somebody was at my door?
Joking.
You know, it's deliveries. All right, I'll be back.
Someone was at his door and he had to go. That is nuts. So bold predictions. I'm going to kind of rip through these. I'll wait till Ray comes back. But I think the Ray had one about Biden and his Alzheimer's in this one too.
Shocker.
Pete, this is why we needed to see Pete. This is why we needed Pete to come on the show, because he predicts, and he pulled out his giant mop of hair. He predicted that he will not chop his mop until 2023 at least. So he has another 10 or 12 days until he can cut his hair. And I don't think he has. We've had him on the show a little bit, or we've seen pictures of him. I don't think he's cut his hair. Can we get a report on who's seen Pete in the last day or two? Has he cut his hair? I don't think we've seen that. And then let's see. So Ray, here's why I wanted to cover this one, because it's not a huge bold prediction, but Ray does challenge him and says that if his bold prediction comes true, he gets to keep his hair. If it doesn't come true, then he needs to cut his hair.
So wait, Ray gets to keep Pete's hair, or
Ray needs Pete's hair. If Pete's bold prediction does not come through, then he has to cut his mop. Let's see. So end of the year, he says, if we don't solve the supply chain issues, we're already going to have cleaned up the monetary inflation because we're not printing money left and right. I don't know if he's right there because we haven't totally curbed inflation, right? He does say that if Build Back Better gets passed, then we'll be printing money for days and people will be buying like crazy. That obviously didn't happen. If it doesn't get passed and we don't solve the supply chain issues with no inventory, I think rates are going to go up over 4%, and there's not going to be anybody buying. So he's kind of partially right there, because a lot of people will have the hangover and they don't want to deal with 7% interest rates. I'm going to kind of skip that one and go into Matt's bold prediction. He says that Joe Biden will get a speech coach, which he did, and I have the video to prove it. I've sent it to Ray.
That's hilarious.
And then let's see. So Scap steps in with a Facebook comment. Bold prediction: Matt LaMarche will learn to putt on fast greens. Matt, did that happen?
Yeah. I mean, it's been amazing, and I've still got some time to improve. So, I mean, the leaps and bounds have just been incredible.
Wait, Scap, you play golf with this man. Is this true?
I will give him partial credit on that one.
He can get closer to the hole now without.
I'll give him partial credit. He's getting a little bit better, but not what he's embellishing here.
Scap, tell the people. There's a lot. I mean, there's a couple million people watching this right now.
Yeah.
So Scap, tell the people, when I was out playing the last time and I had that one tee shot that was like, not far.
You can't say last time. That's one instance, but go on.
Or that one tee shot.
Right. Okay,
I'm just saying I documented the one. There were several before it, but I was like, you know what? It's time. And I pulled out my little phone here and I took a quick video and I sent it to him. And then I made that birdie putt. So when you get it closer to the hole initially, you don't have to worry about putting, I found. So that's why I've gotten better.
That's hilarious.
There you go. So
he's improved his short game, not necessarily
what I really need is for Matt to sell another home this year, so he actually does go out and buy clubs that are like made in the 2000 era, not back in the 1980s.
He doesn't have the clubs his grandpa gave him when he was 7.
They're woods, actual woods. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna say no.
We say no.
Yeah.
Another year, another try.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and I'm going to say that I'm going to add that he needs to still. Now, I'm super stoked that your long game, that your off the tee game has improved. I love that. But then Matt continues and says that there will be major disruptor with technology. Now, this was bold. There's way too much happening with crypto and blockchain, and it's moving so fast. By the way, I've done a ton of research on this, not because Matt predicted this and I'm trying to be a jerk to him, just because I got interested in it and the failure of it, because I predicted it would fail, not on the show, but actually 1,000 times on the show. But he clarifies that it will happen for real estate specifically. Ray wants clarification. And is it blockchain? Is it titles going online? Is it, just everything becoming smoother? And he says all of the above. So now, while this didn't happen, I don't know, because he does predict that, once title and it goes on, and we can kind of cut through this a little bit, because Julie does step in and says, if appraisals can happen pre-listing and you just have the price, and that's out of the 30-day part of the transaction, and the titles were part of the blockchain or something that could bring some technology, and that would speed it up. And Matt says that escrows can now be 15 to 20 days. So obviously didn't happen, but it was a bold prediction.
We have a special guest joining us real quick, Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam, how do you feel?
Emotional damage.
Oh, brought on by who? SBF. He brought it on himself, by the way.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine. You just
That's exactly what he did. He said he was fine when he was not really fine.
Not to get off topic here, but that guy went on every single, since the crash, he defrauded his investors. He went on every single podcast and TV show and radio show that he could to say, you know what, I'm just, I don't have the data in front of me, but I'm just not that smart. So I wasn't aware of this, but it's definitely something that I need to be better about.
Can I just say, like, on all those media news outlets, he was treated with kid gloves, and simply because he gave so much effing money to the Democrats. I'm just going to put that out there. Like,
no, he gave to both sides. He gave tons of money to both sides. Tons.
All right, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up while we do these bold predictions.
Absolutely look it up, because he didn't disclose the red side, because he knows how he'd be viewed in the media. Go ahead, look it up. Look it up.
That sounds awful, like your conspiracy theory. But okay, all right, we'll keep
Go
going.
ahead, look it up.
He didn't disclose what's said because okay.
No, look it up. You can look it up live on the show. And
I'm looking it up now. I'm looking it up now.
Okay, so obviously, so now, and we'll come back to it, but I wanted to know. So Matt, put a pin in this. Do you think that shrinking the transaction through technology will be part of 2023? Again, put a pin in it. Because I thought that was a bold prediction. Now let's move on to the biggest news of the year, because Julie was correct. She said that the Bulldogs will beat Bama
50% of the time.
50% of the time. Now, are you predicting that they're going to win again?
When it matters, that's right.
When it matters.
She says, heck yes. Okay, fine then.
So then she comes back to say that he agrees with Matt on the shortening, and this might just be an Atlanta thing. I don't know. That the transaction are going to shorten. Programs being able to buy before they sell, so home light, etc. She also thinks that that's going to cause some issues with appraisal. And then that appraisal. So I want to get Scap's point of view on this, because she also thinks that appraisals could be a technology piece that could change.
I agree.
Do you see that? So how?
I agree.
We'll go on that.
Well, they're already trying to, push the technology on the appraisal side of things with desktops and hybrids and utilizing, third party, apps, applications to measure homes, and just allowing anybody to go out there, measure a home now, and, make a floor plan and do all sorts of other little things. So I think it's happening, but I don't think it's going to take a big strong hold. I mean, on some maybe transactions it will, maybe like HELOCs and things of that nature. But I think when it comes to purchasing and when it comes to refinances, you still need, somebody analyzing everything. But I do believe that there are moves being made to actually try and employ more technology to make things faster in the transaction process.
I think this is about where Ray jumped in with, because Zillow and the Zestimate has done so well with that in the last few years.
But the changes I'm talking about are more internally, not like on a big scale like that with Zillow and Open Door. We all know they're a bunch of fools and how they do things, and their algorithms are terrible. I'm talking more in the actual process of the appraisal,
streamlining the process.
Of streamlining it. They're just trying to use more tech. They're trying to get you to use your smartphone more, and people are coming up with all these different things for appraisers to use. I mean, we hate change. Everybody resists change. I do see it becoming probably more of a part of the process. Just how that figures out, I don't know yet.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Do you think they're going to be using the phone to do the measurements? Is that accurate enough?
There's apps out there already that are made. One's called Cubicasa. There's a couple other companies that have made them where you can actually go out and just use the LiDAR technology to scan the home. Well, I mean, is it accurate? A lot of people say it is. Some people it's not. It depends on the home. Cookie cutter homes, sure. I mean, it might be a little more accurate, but homes with big angles and things of that nature, I don't think it really is. I prefer just to keep measuring with my laser and make things, take my time and get it done right. Yeah. But there's also, there's a couple lawsuits out there for making floor plans, and so we just don't know where it's going yet.
That's a big one.
But again, you got to remember,
Ray. That was a big story. We forgot.
But you got to remember, if you're relying on that technology and you're relying on those results, I mean, that's on you. That's completely on you. Know what you're using before you actually use it and rely upon it.
Yeah, and if you're relying on an appraiser who's relying on that technology,
there you go. That's why I don't use it.
I just dropped in the chat the article from Time. It says, quote, this is from Sam Bankman-Fried. All my Republican donations were dark.
Oh,
he said, he basically, to summarize it, he gave 40 million to Democrats and said he also gave 40 million to Republicans. It's just not traceable.
Right.
Okay.
I told you, I've watched a lot about this in the last couple of months.
Let me take off my elf cap and put on my tinfoil cap for that one.
No. Hey, when you have as many conspiracy theories as I do, sometimes they come true.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes.
Let's see. What do we say? Oh, well, Mike Elizabeth Rodell was off. She said Biden would die. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
There was a lot of conspiracy theories. I'm assuming that's Elizabeth and not Mike. Mike seems like his conspiracy theories would be a little more reasoned.
Yeah. And then Adam Johnson adds that there will be a 50% increase in desktop appraisals or appraisal waivers. Now,
has that happened?
Desktop maybe, but not appraisal waivers. I don't think
I don't know the exact numbers, but there were a whole hell of a lot of waivers last year and the year before. Yes, there were.
Okay.
I don't know if it was 50%, but again, it also depends on the product. It depends on what the loan is, what they're doing it for. So, but I don't know if I don't think it was 50%. I don't remember the exact number. Fannie or Freddie might have that number.
I'm looking it up.
Dude, Julie literally predicted the future, and she was messing with Scap on the show. Remember, he wasn't physically on; he was just in the comments, and he was getting frustrated. She added
that is true. I remember that.
She added that it's got to be taken out of the individual person's hands somehow, and she was joking about it, but that's the point that Lazine took when he was in his debate a couple months ago or a month ago. That's funny. That is funny. So that's where his pent-up aggression started, and it's Julie's fault.
It built for an entire year until he could explode on Bam.
Yeah, we go on a lot. There's a lot more about the appraiser stuff, and then
always the problem.
Elizabeth. I mean, do you want to read that one, Ray? At 150. Yeah, the Biden will die of Hillary.
Oh yeah, that's why I said Biden will die. Maxwell will commit suicide.
Which she's on trial now, right?
Yeah, the Middle East will blow up. Jesus will come. Well, that didn't happen yet. Letting all the good agents help folks settle in the nice mansions. Crappy agents will find jobs. They don't suck at. Well, that last half was accurate.
Yeah.
Last half was accurate.
Which that might be part of my bold prediction for next year. So Bokros again steps in.
So the only appraisal number I can find, just want to throw this out there real quick, is in April of 2021, 15% of loans sold to the government sponsored by enterprises use desktops. So I know it's way more than that now, but that just puts a little context on what it was in 2021. Right. I just don't see it. So I'll keep trying to find it, but I don't see how we can track that. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
Bokros is actually wrong. Now he was wrong on both of these. So he says that rates bump up to above or about 4.25%. Again, we're ignoring that. So I was right at 4.1% for a brief period of time mid-year. Bold non-real estate prediction. Dems lose 50 seats in the House.
Yeah. They did lose some seats. It wasn't 50 though.
Didn't. It was
How many seats did they lose? No, they lost in the House. They gained 1 in the Senate.
Yeah, they didn't lose 50.
No, many seats.
And y'all can blame Donald Trump for that, and Kanye. You can blame Kanye too.
Kanye, or do we blame Kanye or not Kanye?
Well, which Kanye are we talking about?
I can't even find that stat quickly. Somebody's gonna have to find that stat because everywhere I'm looking, it's like it doesn't say. How many seats were gained by Republicans? Maybe I should phrase it like that. How many seats?
So I'm going to skip because there's some more appraisal stuff. We've already hit on that quite a bit. Then Christina M. Smallhorn predicts 500 more real estate channels only making housing crash and bubble videos, getting millions of views. Expect more fire and downward arrow thumbnails.
I mean, yeah, that is accurate. And I think 100%. There's probably over 500 channels more, easily over 500 more channels.
I think she was low on that prediction.
Yeah. She's still in our clubhouse. She's not, but yeah.
And then I'm going to cut mine off and just read the top part that I predicted for the real estate will be much in the same boat. Supply chain issues will still be tough, specifically low for new construction. So I was right. And then we'll still be way behind on new construction. And then I went towards supply chain issue. Then I went off a whole rant. I had a bunch of people saying I should run for president because part of my prediction was that we'll be on the 4th or 5th Omicron variant or COVID variant, which I think we're on past that. I think I was wrong, but that the media will use it to scare people and keep them in their homes and keep them out, from blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to save it. Actually, I'm going to save it for my bold prediction, but I was essentially right on that. I get 12 points.
Well done. 12 points. Dan.
Sorry,
Dan suddenly in the lead. You're awarding himself points. I am the awarder. I'll tamp that down to 1.2.
And then Ray, you can take over here, but Ray's bold prediction, and he wants to double down. Buyers win because the people suing National Association of Realtors lose. Now, do you remember that, Ray? Do you want to clarify on that?
So what we talked about was by making it a class action, which is what they did, they're going to lose because it's too different on the contracts. Our contract specifically state how it all operates. It's basic contract law, and there's no way they could possibly win here. But if the buyers were to win, then the buyers would have to come out of pocket with more money in order to close on a home with professional representation. So my theory was that buyers would win because they don't have to come up with the additional money to close, and can hire professional representation to represent them.
And where are we at? Did that go flat, or are they still deciding? Are they still fighting?
Still in court.
So that's carry that one over.
Yeah, we'll have to table that one. I still think that's accurate. I like how, let me read how you wrote about it, about what I said.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this is on the Zillow thing. He thinks that buyers win when lawsuits against NAR, and they will continue just what I said. But then the C one. He adds that Zillow is going to double down on consumer search. Is that accurate? I think they more doubled down. Actually, they kind of went more agent facing, didn't they?
Well, okay. I don't really know. We'd have to look at overall traffic to their site and see what they did, because remember, they had to make a change to put that extra tab there for Rex, and that's part of the fight with DOJ and NAR, right?
Yep.
But I would say that you're partially true. There's not going to be numbers behind it, but they got rid of iBuying. So they had to go back to focus on getting income from agents and getting views on their sites. So I would say that they had to have done that.
I reiterated my 2021 prediction that NAR will finally have a consumer-based MLS. I was wrong. I'm just going to carry that forward. I mean, they've got to do this. But then Dan writes, Ray gets very passionate about this and says that they need to do this to stay relevant in the eyes of the consumer. Yeah. And insert passionate speech here. I still agree with that.
Yeah. And if
they don't do it by the next year, there'll be another organization that pops up. And I think we discussed this, right? The bearded. Yeah. There was some discussion about what that might be called. Yeah.
We've discussed it 1,000 times, but that organization hasn't popped up. But at this point, it's going to happen. Someone else will come along that is agent centric, not Zillow, not Trulia, not Redfin, not any of those types of sites. This will be someone that gets deals together with the MLS. Now, Pocket Listing Service, PLS, tried to do this. They tried to create their own MLS in a chunk of Southern California here, and it worked. But then they
were focused on the listings, not the buyers, though. That's the error. That's the error of their ways.
Their error of their ways. But someone will come along that's doing this again, and we'll try to have those conversations and build those relationships and say, look, because we have what's called the CRMLS here, the California Regional Multiple Listing Service, and I think it houses about 40 or 41 MLSs, I think. So we kind of almost have a statewide thing, but there's still chunks around me where I can't see, unless I'm a part of a certain board, I cannot see the MLS. But it's going to be it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and it may not be next year, but it's going to happen. And we're way behind the ball on this one. Way behind the ball.
Yeah. Okay. So what is are we going through new bold predictions? I guess I need to award some points. I'm going to award a point to Julie because she got the national. She got that right.
Yeah. I think she gets. I was pretty bold because weren't they a pretty big underdog at the time?
Yeah.
I mean,
they were. It feels like they wouldn't be an underdog, but at the time they were an underdog.
They were then.
That was a big prediction. Now they're like not the underdog because they're not playing anybody in the national championship. It's a waste.
Yeah. Now the bold prediction to win isn't it like a 3 to 5? Like if you bet on them, you'll actually lose money, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that bad.
I do want to go back up. When Matt said Joe Biden would get a speech coach, there were two comments I thought were relevant. Dan adds it won't help anything. Ray jokes that there's no speech coach that can help Alzheimer's. Right. I mean, I think it's still relevant conversation.
Yeah. So when you went to, for some reason, magically get your package like you did a year ago at the exact same time, that was weird. I did mention that, and then how you mentioned you'd already mentioned Alzheimer's in the show previously on this year's show. So I thought
on this year's show already did. Yeah. Isn't that strange? I mean, I guess 'tis the season for deliveries. Okay, so we need. What were you going to say, Scap? Did you say something?
So my buddy here, Vince, who commented here in 2021, waivers were about 49% of both GSEs, Fannie and Freddie. But I just located another study that as of October 22nd of 2022, it's at 16% right now, down 33 percentage points from that 49% in March. So it has declined.
So she was actually way wrong.
Yeah.
I'm taking your point away. I gave Julie a point. I'm taking the point away because now you're even.
It evens out. You get the dogs, but take away another one.
You get the dogs who are taking away your appraisal.
Sorry, Julie.
Leave it to the appraisal to take away your points, okay? The appraiser strikes again.
So let's get into it. We got to wrap this show up. Let's go.
Yeah, let's wrap the show. Let's go bold predictions. If you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse, drop your bold predictions in the chat. We're going to screenshot them in Clubhouse so that we can carry them forward now. We will bring them back up as Dan watches this show next year at 4 a.m. So drop your bold predictions. What's going to happen? It doesn't have to be about real estate. Extra points if it is. But what is your bold prediction for the year of 2023? What do you think is going to happen? And people will think you're crazy if you think that's going to happen. What is that thing?
Scat breaks 80. Boom.
Scat breaks 80.
Wait a minute.
Crazy prediction.
It's already happened. I've already happened. I shot a 78.
But are you going to do that in 2023? That's the question.
Right. Doing it once in 2022 means nothing.
Okay. That's a good one. Might not happen.
And by the way, everyone that we're talking about is golf game.
Yeah, it's golf. All right. So bold predictions. Who wants to start? Let's go with LaMarche this time. What is your big bold prediction for 2023?
Yeah, so on January 6th, there's going to be I'm just kidding.
That would have been an insane prediction had you made it last year. Insane. All right.
One off. No, I'm going to make two because I feel like I'm going to get the possibility of more points next year if I just make
now you know how the point system works.
Right. Yeah. So for the next
unless
hour,
it evens out like it did for Julie Moon. That's fine.
So as it relates to real estate, we've already said it. I think, the activity is going to be weird. There's going to be this weird time for the first 3 to 6 months, I think, where it's going to feel like nothing's happening. But I think this is going to be a great opportunity for good agents out there to consider their business, where it comes from, where it's going. I think a lot of people are going to start doing more unique things in lead generation. Scap and I were actually talking about this earlier, that we're going to have to find new ways to add value to the conversation. As it relates to maybe the national or the international news, hearing all that crypto stuff, I must have just been in a lot of crypto rooms when I was making a lot of these predictions. But I think there will be something big in technology that's going to change the way that we communicate in the next year with each other, similar to a Clubhouse, similar to YouTube Lives and all of these other things. But it's going to be something that we've never seen before. And I don't know if Elon's going to do it. I don't know if Donald Trump is going to do it. But there's going to be a new social media presence built and really, really successful that no one knows about on December 21st, 2022, that we're all going to be talking about this time next year.
Interesting. I like it. So like a TikTok, Clubhouse.
Because Mastodon is getting a lot of new users right now. So you're not saying
Master what? I've never heard of it. Master what?
Well, see, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to say that this didn't exist on December 21st, 2020.
I mean, it's definitely not in the mainstream if I don't know about it.
That's what I mean.
I've seen a lot about it. So I'm going to call him out a little bit. And because if he tries to pull the Mastodon thing.
Now, I would say that would work because I don't know about it. I'm pretty tuned in to social medias. So I have to also say last year at this time, crypto was a gigantic deal. And it wasn't, as a matter of fact, me and Zachary Faust started a crypto Facebook page. Yeah. And then it was like a Facebook group that we're going to do called Real Crypto. And it was going to be a lot of fun. We're going to dive into it and do once a month type of meetings. And we never did because as soon as we started that group, we were both impersonated by crypto people. And we were like, well, would not end well if we continued on this path. So, but we were going to talk, the goal was to talk about crypto and real estate, but they're so like menacing in sharing this information that it didn't work. But this time last year, everything was talking about crypto. It was like a huge, huge deal.
Well, yeah, you guys went off a lot about the whole transaction being blockchain and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I think I was like, yeah.
You listen to that in like 4 speed. Get through that quick. Yeah. But I like your prediction about a social media platform that everybody's going to be talking about. We'll see.
Not Mastodon.
Well, it could be because but nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about it.
Well, in my circles, they are.
What's the Vero? Vero's the other one that nobody's talking about. It's been around for a while.
I think it could be around. Something Matt's thinking of. Stop naming things.
I'm just saying that it could be around and no one's really using it or plugging into it.
Right.
Peach is another one that died. Nobody's using that. Right. But Peach came out.
TikTok was already around when it was Musically, and it was kind of big, but then it became TikTok and went huge. So I mean,
I downloaded it and deleted Musically.
I would
the monthly users of Musical.ly wasn't anything remote, and obviously TikTok and the rebrand and everything else was huge for the platform. But another one along those same lines, Dan, TikTok will be legislated out of the United States.
That's big. That's a great prediction. I love this.
You think a Democratic president is going to do that? Because Trump was going to do it.
No, I think we're already starting to see this like locally.
By the way, I agree that it should be that app. My daughters will never have that app or touch that app. Never.
So there's a lot of legislation out there at the federal level already, but here locally, a lot of universities, a lot of private corporations with zero private equity or zero public interest, no stock market, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, any of that. Private companies are now completely removing it from all their devices and requiring that you don't even have it on your private devices.
Same with the government. Same with the government down here. The state down here said, Kemp said, nope, no more.
Yeah.
Can I just get a broad overview of what's going on for people that are like, what, why are they going to steal my Dancing Girls app? Okay. So here's the issue. The TikTok app in China is very different from the TikTok app that you have as an American. The TikTok app in China shows people like creating and the old making videos, like somebody making this from scratch and look how they're using their brain power.
Right.
And look at this cool engineering feat and look at this. And all the content is controlled through China because it's owned by China, like the government. So the TikTok app that we see in America is very different. It's more of the crack cocaine version of content where they show dudes scantily clad girls all the time, and they show girls things that would interest them all the time that do not do anything but make you dumber. And it's like, it's not a conspiracy theory. It is, you could just go find it. This is out there. But the other thing that it's doing is that there are channels that are specifically targeting politics, American politics, that are run by China. And they are using that to distribute things that are not true about our politics. And because people on TikTok believe everything you see on the internet, that's being recirculated. And that is why bike dance is being banned in America. So if you haven't caught up with that, that's what's going on. So if you're putting a whole bunch of money into your TikTok channel as a real estate agent, you might want to diversify that portfolio a little bit. Take a look at YouTube, take a look at Instagram, even Facebook, and try to kind of move some of your content around. So if you haven't been following what's going on, that is going on. Cool. I love that as a bold prediction because we will see if that actually does happen, if it can be banned. Trump tried to, and then everybody gave him grief about it. So I don't know. It was kind of a bold move by him to try it. It didn't work. So we'll see if it actually works now.
Well, yeah, the privacy settings or the end user license agreement that they try to get you to agree to is like, because no one reads those things anymore. But if you do, it's like, okay, so I mean, it's insane what they do and the amount of data.
We own you.
They essentially own you. But there's a thing called persuadables out there. There's people that don't lean right, they don't lean left, they feel down the middle. At least their data suggests that they lean down the middle. So what things that Ray is talking about is they will target these persuadables and push them whichever way they want to go, which then benefits them, whether that be left or right or whatever.
That's a real deal.
Yeah.
That's not like tinfoil hat stuff. Like that's well known. If you're like, it's conspiracy. No, this is like legit happening right now.
There's tons of documentaries about there. There's about there, and there's tons of documentaries out there about it, and you can find it all on the internet. And they all pull from different sources, so you can make your own decision, not what the media tells you.
Love that. All right, Scap, what's your bold prediction, man?
Oh,
and don't forget, if you're watching this live, drop your bold predictions into the comments. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, we already have a couple. Dusty Martin says Hunter Biden goes to jail. Peggy says Krampus will face financial failure and have to file for reorganization. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, Scap, what is your bold prediction for the year, man?
All right. Well, like since Matt had a couple, I got a couple here. But the first one is my bold prediction is that Zillow comes back with a vengeance to actually reshape what they're doing and reshape the agent realtor market. That's the first one. That's my first bold prediction.
I like it. So what are they going to do? How are they going to do it? Scap, do you
Don't
know
ask-
enough? Can you look in your crystal ball and see enough information to know exactly how they're going to come back with a vengeance and own the
You
marketplace?
just asked for a prediction. I'm not going to explain it because I don't know. I'm just giving you my bold prediction.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Yes.
But if you had to go forward, this will not count against you. Dan, make a note at 4 a.m. Dan next year.
Yep.
This will not count against you in points. But if you had to guess one way in which they would own the market, what would it be?
I think they actually have figured out how to get their algorithm a little more trustworthy.
Bold.
You went like if there was a route to go, there's like the easy route and the hard route. You went the hardest route possible, and you say that they take a year to fix that problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So bold. I like it.
You said
I'm going
bold.
to disagree with him, but agree with him.
Yeah.
Right. If Zillow takes the market, I think they take the market through agents. I don't think they take the market through the predictions and analytics. I think they take the market through additional services to agents. But
I would go the other way. I'd say they're going to go through the consumer.
So you're gonna go more consumer facing. I think they have to go agent facing because they tried consumer and failed. But this is a bonus points if we're right, but it won't count against you. Yeah.
But when you say consumer facing, are you talking about the platform or the iBuying program?
No, not iBuying, just the platform and what they offer and streamlining. Remember what they just bought.
General services offered.
They just bought
Okay,
something.
right. I just want to make sure we're clear on the iBuying is what failed. The platform has not failed, right?
Right.
You're talking when you say consumer facing, that's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
but remember what they just bought. Now they're, agents are gonna be like, oh my gosh, they're trying to take our job. They're trying to take what I already do and offer it. So now, and maybe they'll do that as a agent facing thing. But at the end of the day, that's about the consumer. That's about getting more traffic to their website because that's where they dominate the market.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll get into my my second one here really quick. It kind of falls into what Matt says. There's going to be a big technology boom, but I believe, again, it falls into changing the way that agents and realtors do business. It's kind of like how they're trying to do things with appraising. I think they're going to now get more into that aspect of it.
Interesting how realtors and agents do business. So how they do transaction management, how they do lead generation. What part of the business do you think?
I think as far as the transaction goes.
Okay. Yeah.
Start to finish. I mean, not that the lead generation has a lot out there. I'm talking about more like start to finish. The way that I don't know how to explain it, but it's more of like somebody's going to have some sort of app out there that's going to be able to actually start to finish, do everything. And interact. That's just
like this, like this one that I don't want to load up because that's going to show financials for like this one. Are you saying like this one?
Possibly.
There's some. I agree. I think
man, come on.
No, I think in order for a company to succeed, I think they're going to have something that makes the daily lives of agents better. Real, I think, is ahead of the curve. It's one of the reasons why I joined them, but they have launched something that I think is going to make a huge splash on the consumer facing side next year. So yeah, I would agree that I think a big franchise firm, especially a big corporation, they're going to have something to make the lives of those agents easier so that they survive, or else they're just going to get swallowed up because people are going to be like, why am I paying them so much money? And, trying to use SkySlope. Good. I like that. Love that.
Here's my last one. I am going to sell more houses than Matt next year.
Oh, shots fired. Wow.
Christmas, you filthy animal.
Old prediction.
Wait. We need a lot more clarification on this. We need a lot more. Okay, through referrals, or are you actually selling them?
I will go with I will actually sell them.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's make it a little harder there.
All right, I gotta hop off. I gotta send some emails out real quick.
He's got to start his lead generation. See you later, man. Thanks.
Starting right now.
Let's start it till 2023.
I think Matt was only here for the start of the show anyway. We just convinced him to stay longer. So no, that's good. All right, Dan, do you have a bold prediction for the marvelous year of 2023?
Yeah, I already said it, and I think DeSantis is going to get the nod over Trump because I think it's going to kind of come down to those two. Wouldn't you guys agree? I don't know. I don't follow a ton of politics, but I follow the kind of main people just to kind of know what's going on enough. But I would say that he's a departure from where they were, and I think they want to go, they being the GOP, they want to go away from that, although some still hold on to it, like trying to push Herschel Walker into
He's
the
cool though.
Is he?
I like him. He's a cool guy.
Is
He's
he?
a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Have you ever listened to him talk about vampires being real?
I mean, people got weird stuff. There's people that believe in aliens.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. Anyway,
There's people believe in ghosts.
But that was a last ditch effort to try to get someone in the House or somebody, to try to get another seat, but obviously it failed. So I think he will, because I think they're going to try to steer away. And then I'm going to go another, because right now, what just happened? The J6 committee, I don't know if we can say that on the J6 committee has just said that they recommend all of these charges be right, that you put charges on Trump and all these things for these three different things. I think it was three different things.
Yep.
So now it's in the DOJ's hands. So what I'm predicting is that they're going to take this and they're going to go, thanks for doing all that work. We're going to take all your reports. We're going to take all your depositions and all your testimonies and everything that you gained. And now we're going to do our own investigation. So thanks for doing all that work, but now we're going to do our own. And I think there'll be some, right. They're going to stretch it out. They're going to stretch it out. And then maybe one kind of guy gets blamed here or there, but it kind of falls off. But nothing will get to Trump. Nothing will get to the higher ups. And I just don't think there'll be anything of it, because now we can stop talking about the J6 committee, and now it's in the hands of the DOJ. The DOJ has a lot to deal with for us realtors. So I'm going to say they're going to focus on that stuff and not, and this isn't an admission of whether it happened or didn't happen, or someone needs to go to jail for this or that. People have gone to jail for it. I'm just saying that it won't get to Trump, but there'll be some, DOJ will have some headlines throughout the year, but I don't think there'll be anything major. If anything major happens, and it does get to Trump, because, there's a lot of things. He's got these documents. He did that. He tweeted this. He said that. He texted that guy. There's a lot of that stuff, but is it true? And will it actually, if it is true, will it actually go anywhere?
I mean, just compare it to Biden's laptop and, which one is more significant information? Colluding with China, or, a January 6th, some people going in and taking selfies in the Capitol. Okay. So,
killing police officers, but yeah, there's that.
The whole Capitol selfie thing. You should look into that main police officer that's been celebrated. That's been an interesting kind of sidetrack in his relationship with the Democrats up to this point. Anyway, so I like your bold prediction. Do you have anything else to add? Do you want to add a real estate bold prediction on there? I'm going to force you to.
I've already said it. Real estate's going to be pretty boring. Okay, here I will.
Give me something incendiary that we can set on fire next year.
Okay, so I think it's going to go along. I think Compass, that prediction from Peggy, was it Peggy, that says Compass will face financial failure and have to file for reorganization. Bold and only a prediction. I think we're going to see agent counts. I think Matt kind of already said this. I think agent count is going to go down because a lot of agents saw how quote unquote easy it was to sell a house. I think agent count is going to go down. I've said this for 10 years, the entirety of my career, that the real ones of us that really love doing this and do things the right way and try to better ourselves and try to be better at this, we need to stay here, which is about 5% of us. Now, I don't think it's going to be that much of a dip, but I think you are going to see a big dip and I'll even go one step further. I think you're going to see a big dip in just agent count, but also memberships to NAR. I think people are going to be so fed up with this whole riding with the R, I almost said a bad word, crap, that I think membership renewals are going to go down. And that's partially because agents are just out of the business. And also they're just tired of it, dude. I don't need to be a realtor to sell houses. I don't need that. Now, if your MLS requires that, then you do. But I think there's going to be some pushback on that. So there you go. There's my bold prediction.
I love that. Okay, so heading to the 2 hour and 15-minute mark. I thank you guys for joining us up to this point. My big bold prediction: NAR will finally launch the consumer-facing website. This is my third year in a row to predict this. NAR But this is a different twist. They got a different twist coming.
Okay,
and here
okay,
we'll
what do you got?
finally, this is, I can see it. I can foresee it happening right now.
He wants it to happen so bad.
Yeah. NAR will finally launch the consumer facing website.
Okay.
And no consumers will use it because it's done so badly.
He's trying to make it come through.
That's what's going to happen. They're going to launch it. It's going to be a massive failure. No consumers are going to use it. And they're going to be like, what? Why aren't they using it? We use the 3D logo. And they're going to miss so much basic functionality in this that it's going to be a massive failure. So I think they actually finally launched something and it doesn't work. And people are like, this is not the way that you should have built it. It should be more simple. It should feature the listing agent.
Yeah.
It should just have the information about the property and photos.
Like
it should be similar to
the whole thing without actually asking us realtors or actually asking technology experts what we want. Right. And then they'll be like, here's our new thing, dude. We did what you wanted. And we're going to go, thanks. But dude, it's horrible.
It's terrible. Terrible. Yeah. Never mind that
this is going to be
millions of dollars.
A national, like HAR has, like Houston area realtors has, but for the nation. Like
national MLS.
But
and the biggest failure of NAR to date.
So a high, but also a low.
Yeah, super high because they finally do it. And the largest failure to date because it's done so badly.
Do you know something? Because this already needs to be working on. Do you know something?
This already needs to be in the works. So part of we change presidents every year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is like a 5-year project. So they would have had to start this 4 years ago to
when
get
you
to
started predicting.
Right. To get to it. So maybe they have, maybe they've been working on it. Maybe they've been watching the show being like, these guys are accurate. We need a national MLS. And the presidents have been changing. Each president has given a slightly different input. And the engineers are like, last president said this. And now you're saying this. And last president said this. And now you're saying this. And they've been frustrated with this secret project they've been working on for 4 years. They're going to finally get it out there in the face of the National Association of Realtors lawsuit in which NAR loses because they settle out of court with these people. So they're going to lose. So there's not going to be a precedent set for anything like that. They're going to have to settle. They're going to pay a whole bunch of money that we gave them. And people are going to be super frustrated about that. Because they gave them all the money, they're going to say, well, we were trying to build this thing and we're going to go ahead and launch it. We couldn't put the money towards it that we wanted to because we had these lawsuits. But hey, we're touring the country, riding with the R. All right, so that is
my takeaway from that is that we're looking for Ray to run for the NAR president in 2025.
That's my takeaway too.
I'm so bad at politics.
For next year.
They don't want me. I'm too black and white. I'm too like guys that's stupid or guys that's great. And they don't want that. They want like we'll definitely consider your proposal. Thank you, sir. And I'm just not that.
So as someone that's very involved with our local association and having attended a couple National Association of Realtors events, I can tell you you're wrong. But also to Scap's thing, we already have all of these little bits of technology that do the real estate transaction. They make the client's life and our life easier. No one's put them all together though. And to your point, Ray, like we already have all these things. There are tons of platforms out there that have done this, and NAR could just go in and go, we want that, and build it and brand it.
That's a good sound effect. We need to pull that sound effect for later. There are some companies that have kind of mastered the whole thing. I'm not going to say who, broker, but there are some companies that have done a really good job mastering the entire process there. Just say it's the best thing I've ever seen.
Hey, guys, I gotta go. I got a pedicure coming up. I gotta get to it.
All right, yeah, we do have to go soon. All right, so my next prediction is that Real Broker grows to 16,000 agents. We just hit 8,000 agents today. So doubles. We double. You guys have said that several companies have declined in user count, declined in agent count, declined. I think Real Broker is going to go up to at least 16,000 agents by this time next year, which we will all celebrate together.
You're saying, and then it's going to kind of do this, like up, like a bottom, and then like up, like this, almost like kind of a triangle kind of thing. Like
it's better, yeah. You could say like a pyramid.
Yeah, like whoever's at the top, and then down,
So Ray's at the top. He's gonna get 3 people.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna have 8,000 people.
And then Matt is gonna get 3 people, and Scap can join under Matt.
Right.
So let me just take you back. Right. Let's think about corporation. Who's at the top of a corporation? Everybody answer quick.
CEO.
Who's at the top of the corporation?
CEO.
Right.
Okay.
CEO.
Right, yeah.
Who's under the CEO?
CFO, CTO.
CFO, CTO, COO. Who's under them?
Customer offers. Then you go to the other smaller
Senior
executive,
managers, vice
Okay, and
president.
then you can, and then
you go to the management level, and so on.
does that not what shape is that?
Well, here, let me go bigger. Ready? Who runs our country?
I know, right? It's the same freaking people are like, revenue shares a pyramid. It's like, no. It's a much better idea to give all your money to the CEOs, C-level executive, VCs, and stockholders. That's a much better idea. You just stay where you are and give your money to them. Anyway, all right. So that's beside the subject. All right. So that's my 2 bold predictions so far. NAR launches a massive failure. Real broker grows to 16K, which is significant. I don't know if you've seen like growth charts, but that would be a significant thing. That's a more bold prediction than anything.
Especially in a down or flat market.
Correct. This year we started in January about 4,000. We're ending the year at 8,000. So we have doubled this year. It would take a lot to double again.
But I think there's something to it though. People or agents are going to want to keep more of their own money and make money as in other ways. That's why ESP took off, because the whole pitch was you can make money in other ways outside of just real estate. You can just
say ESP.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell they're called. I hate that company.
What was in your tea? Cheers. Okay. So my next bold prediction.
Ready to go before we go.
All right. Well, we'll have to shoot it at the end. So my next bold prediction. I agree with your DeSantos. I need one more. That's not real estate related. Let's say I've already said that. I'm just going to reiterate that Biden gets put in a home.
No. Let's just add one that I think everyone can agree. Matt shoots a 77 before SCAP.
Guaranteed. Mm-hmm.
What? All right.
We're going to end it on that. Let's go.
You can say that.
Well, cheers, everybody.
Or that appraisers and agents.
Are you sure that's iced tea? You sure?
Just little sips of iced tea.
There you go. Cheers, everybody. Happy holidays. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thanks for being on, dudes. Appreciate you guys. And just year round, you guys are awesome. Appreciate it.
Scap, tell people where they can find you real quick.
You can find me at atlantapropertyappraiser.com, or you can find me on Instagram at Atlanta Property Appraiser.
There you go. Thanks for doing the show, Scap. We'll see you next time. Matt, where can people find you, bro?
At Matt La Marsh, just like that on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else. You can find your favorite Razorbacks. Or no, that's the dog.
That was pretty good. Yeah, same place. Thanks for joining us, guys. We really appreciate y'all. Dan, what's up, buddy? Well done. Good year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good show. Tell everybody where they can find you, man.
And Ray, I cannot believe that we racked up over 3,000 views this year.
Yeah, 3 point something. I got to look at the data, but there's a lot of people that have watched. So
forget the zeros, but 3 point something we have, and I don't know. We always say it. We do this show for the love of just getting the right info out there and having a little bit of fun for about an hour every Wednesday. So thanks, guys. You guys are just amazing. Find me at DLetterDross, DLEDWITROCKS. We'll be back after the new year. Go check on your friends. Make sure you tell people you love them. And Ray, where can they find you?
You can find me at Razorback. That's RAYZORBACK. Everywhere good Razorbacks are sold. Thank you guys so much for joining us this show. I know it's the long show. We appreciate you hanging in there, but thank you so much for being there with us all year. Please review the podcast. If you listen to us on the audio, drop a comment on the YouTube. We'd love to see you guys interact, and we will be back next year.
I'm going to have to start well before 4 a.m. next year.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.